starting off. Like, I was a very small Twitter account not that long ago, but I still was doing it. It's good to get in the habit of doing it. And all right, we're gonna go ahead and then get Queer Talk Friday started. You ready, Shojo?
You ready?
Dear God. Never again.
All right, wait, where's my thing? Hold on. Let's do this. We don't actually do this before. I just had it on me. It was funny. Good morning. That's not an appropriate thing to say. Good morning, chat and Twitch and anybody else who's somehow watching me. YouTube. Hey, y'all, I'm on YouTube now. The last Queer Talk Friday is on YouTube now. It's 360p. I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, good morning,
Nice.
you all. Queer Talk Friday is a go-go. Let me check my Nightbot real quick, because I think I might have broke something.
I am convinced that I'm the worst guest at this point. So
You are the second guest, and so far you have been just as amazing as Megan was. So I think you're actually wrong. Okay, let's go ahead and enable this. Okay, I need that one. Okay, that's the only one I need. I was just need to turn that one off. But good morning, y'all. Welcome to today's Queer Talk Friday. Today we are going to be having ToransuShojo, the ToransuShojo, on the stream today to talk about her experiences transitioning as a minor. How are you doing this morning, ToransuShojo? I should just call you Emily.
Yeah, call me whatever you want.
I'm gonna call you Stream Mom. How's birthday girl sound?
Why is this every meme? Just
Accept it.
one.
This is your Grand Pooh Bear's marbles meme, okay? This is your shot at big. Anyways, how you doing this morning, Shojo?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am doing handy dandy. I've had some coffee. I've taken my morning meds. I am waking up. We're getting started. We're gonna have a good day. This is gonna be a good day. What is oh, that's a cute thing as well that Annie just posted down in the chat. So yeah, we have Shojo, or I can already call Shojo so much. I'm just gonna call you Emily. We have Emily here with us, and she is going to be talking about her experiences transitioning as a minor. I sprung the question on her last night because I realized I didn't have anybody for today, and she was so gracious as to accept on such short notice. So yeah, thank you so much, Shojo, for coming on today. And by the way, get ready to be called by like 6 different names, because I will continue to forget.
Go for it. I'm
That's
totally cool with it.
yeah. So yeah, go ahead and for those of us in here in the chat who are less familiar with who you are, don't know your stream, don't know who you are, why don't you go ahead and take a moment to just talk about who you are and what you do on Twitch.
Well, I am ToransuShojo on Twitch, but you know, a lot of people call me by my real name, which is Emily, which is totally cool. I do Mario Maker viewer levels like 99% of the time because torturing myself is fantastic. I'm gonna keep doing that throughout Mario Maker 2 when that comes out, but it's super. It honestly, like, streaming is a really super fun thing to do, and I'm really glad that I have the opportunity to do it. There was something else I was gonna say, so I just immediately forgot it.
That's okay. I'm sure you'll remember it. So yeah, like, how long have you been on Twitch then? I know we've talked a bit about this, but like, how long have you been on Twitch? What got you started on Twitch in the first place?
Well, I had a Twitch account for like 3 years, and I kind of streamed on and off in those, in like the first 2 years, because I really kind of enjoyed being able to, you know, broadcast what I was doing to people that actually cared about it, which was super cool. But I started taking it like super serious about 10 months ago. Just because I feel like it would be super cool to actually have a platform.
Yeah.
Annie, no. I just thought it was super cool to have. Like, it just really is, like, amazing to have a platform to do what I enjoy on it and have people really enjoy what I do. And it's like, I think the first thing that really got me into Twitch was like, hey, all these other people are doing Mario Maker. You know what? I'll give it a go. And here we are.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, and also, if you ever stop by my stream, I am one of the, least people
Least what?
ever.
Least what?
One of the least PG.
Oh, yes. Yeah, which, by the way, y'all, she's not PG, but you should definitely go check out ToransuShojo, give her a follow, you know, turn on the notification bell, go hang out on her stream. She is amazing, she's super funny. Every stream I go into, I have a grand old time there, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a mod. So definitely go check her out, she is worth your time. But yeah, so... yeah. So what are your plans going forward with Twitch? I know you talked about, you know, Mario Maker 2 as well. Like, do you have anything else in your future? Are you only gonna be sticking to Mario Maker 2? Do you have anything else you're planning on wanting to get into? What are your thoughts?
Gonna be balancing Mario Maker 2 with ROM hacks, I'm thinking, because ROM hacks have, like, super fantastic, recently. Like, seriously, I would love to do them a whole lot more, and I have a lot more fun playing ROM hacks, sometimes. It's
Gotcha.
probably just because of the amount that I play Mario Maker, but definitely want to try to do some other things as well.
Gotcha.
Not sure what they are yet, but, you know, we'll see if we can get there.
Yeah. I'm sure you are going to be great at Kaizo as well. I've seen your gameplay for Mario Maker, and it's a different game. It really is a different game, but like, look, you have the talent for it, so it should be a good time. So, yeah. So anything else you want to just talk about yourself, your stream, what you do on here? You want to plug any social media before we go ahead and start the interview?
Nah, it's okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. So the topic of discussion today, as I mentioned a couple times now, is we're going to be talking about Shojo's transitioning as, you know, a minor. It's a controversial topic from what I've gathered from other people that I've talked to about this sort of thing, and it's definitely something that I'm not familiar with. I transitioned, I wouldn't say later in life, I definitely was on the younger end, I think, as well, for transitioning, since I started hormones at 19. But at the same time, starting hormones at 19, once you've already gone through a male puberty like I did, is a very different experience than if you were to go on puberty blockers. Which, I mean, I don't know if you started puberty blocker Shojo before you started going through puberty, but we can go ahead and just, you know, talk about that, see what you're comfortable talking about with. But yeah, I think the first question that I have to ask about this, because we got to start from the bottom here, is just, how did you realize you were trans? How did you realize you weren't, you know, the gender you were assigned at birth?
The story is pretty, I would say common among kind of like a lot of trans people, but it's just like taking the time to really think about how things were, kind of like when I was younger, just not fitting to social norms of being a male, and I was just, and it's just like, when you have enough of those all piled up, it's just, you start to think that something isn't quite right there. And the more you think about it, the more you realize, yeah, I feel like I would be a lot happier, you know, being a woman instead of, you know, whatever this is.
Gotcha. That's fair. Well, how old were you, do you think, when these thoughts were happening?
So, I wanted to say it was sort of like 9-ish, 10-ish, when I noticed something was not right. I mean, mostly kept it to myself because I didn't really have any information of the sort on how to kind of like, hey, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe, you know, I should just keep this to myself because, like, I don't know, it seems pretty weird. So I'll probably just you know, keep it to myself.
Which is,
that didn't end up working out, but
yeah, doesn't sound like it. I mean, it's also really strange to be like, wow, we're talking about, you know, a 9-year-old's thoughts here, being like, wow, maybe I'm just crazy for my thoughts. Like, that's a pretty strange thing. You don't hear about a lot of 9-year-olds having these sort of thoughts. So, yeah. So, all right. So you're having these thoughts, and how long have you said you were on puberty blockers and hormones as well?
So I've been on blockers for, I want to say, 4 years and hormones on 2.
Hormones for blockers for 4 years and hormones on 2. Okay. So did you start your blockers then before you went through puberty then, or male puberty then, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm lucky enough to do that.
Gotcha. Interesting. So then.
Wait. Hormones actually probably a lot less time than that. I don't know. It's hard to remember just because.
That's fair.
I have bad memory.
That's
but
okay.
it's between 1 and 2.
It's between 1 and 2. So, okay, between 1 and 2 for hormone use. That's totally fine. I mean, for the longest time, I didn't remember when I started hormones specifically, but I've been able to isolate the date now to March 9th, 2017, and so, yeah. So, as far then as puberty blockers go, if you were able to start at, what, 12, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Like, you must have had, family on your side for that then. Like, what was the process of coming out to them and starting that conversation to excuse me, start that conversation to go see a doctor? How was that like?
So, when I first brought up the conversation topic, I kind of brought up how I was feeling. Kind of brought it up to my mom when I was, how I was feeling, and I will be, like, flat out, she was incredibly in denial and incredibly not supportive of it at the time, and it was just, like, hit with something that was completely unexpected. That really hurt.
Yeah.
Time being was, she basically told me that I was not ever gonna be allowed to go on hormones or get, hormone blockers or anything of the sort. I'm just like, that's a shame.
How old were you when you then first tried to come out then?
Okay, let me try to remember dates properly.
Yeah, if you can't remember the dates, I mean, you don't have to give an answer to this if you can't remember, but like, I am curious. Just, I can speak to, yeah, math is hard. I can speak to, I'm fairly sure I'm dead. No, I'm not dead. Cool. I can speak to my own experience coming out. When I was 13, I didn't come out as trans. I didn't realize my gender. I didn't really start questioning my gender until I was like 15 or 16. But for myself, I realized I was on the A spectrum as early as 13. And I remember this one car ride coming home, like driving home, where I told my family, like, hey, I think I'm asexual, and I just wanted to tell you all this because this has been something I've been thinking about a lot. And my mother's response to this was, "You've never had sex, how can you know?" That kind of shut me up. And if I could go back in time and respond to that, I would probably say something along the lines of, "How'd you know you were interested in men if you had never had sex with one before," or something like that. And so it was a very frustrating thing. What?
Good point.
What was that?
That's a very good point.
Yeah, and that's kind of heteronormativity in our society, is that it's assumed, like, oh, nobody questions whether or not you're actually interested in the opposite sex. But as soon as you start to question if you're interested in the same sex, or if you're interested in the same gender, if you're not interested in anyone, or if you have a different gender identity, people are just like, do you actually think this? Or like, people are like, oh, you have to spend a lot more time about this. But there's never anything like that for cis-het stuff. And that, which is the problem with heteronormativity in the first place. But yeah, that coming out like that was, very difficult. It was a similar experience to when I came out as trans around 18. I was 18 at this point. I started hormones 3 months after my birthday. But coming out to family, it was just like not well received. The person that my brother actually took to it the quickest. He, as like very quickly after coming out, he was just like, "Do you want me to use she/her pronouns for you?" And that was really good to hear and experience. And my family has, began to understand this and has, gotten a lot better over it over the past 2 years. And I can understand them not, them struggling with it at first. But, like, yeah, so did you manage to figure out, like, or try to remember approximately how old you were when you first tried to come out?
So yeah, I mixed up my my own timeline a little bit because if I'm gonna be honest, remembering his stuff is something I prefer not to do.
That's a mood.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Started having thoughts at 9,
Okay.
kept it to myself until around 12 and a half. Came out, didn't get any progress done until I want to say 13 is when I went on blockers, and then didn't get hormones until 14 and a half, 15.
Okay, so I'm writing this stuff down in the Discord just so we can kind of have something to work
Puberty
off
block-
of.
yeah, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
kept thoughts and stuff until at 12, blockers at 13, and then HRT 14, 15?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's pretty good. And so, for a side note as well, in my experience, I've heard in a lot of places you can't start hormones until you're 18 or so, and so I'm interested to hear about what that's going to be, but I do want to build up to that. So yeah, and puberty blockers, for the record, are different than hormone blockers. Like, I take hormone blockers. Spironolacton's a hormone blocker, but puberty blockers are a separate thing. Can you confirm it's a separate thing? It's JoJo.
Yeah,
Okay.
my bad.
Okay.
I just...
No, I was responding to no feet in chat, but yeah. Do you have something you wanted to say?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, I'm messing things up.
No, you are doing great, JoJo. You're doing wonderfully today. Do not worry about that. So okay, we have an approximate timeline now for why am I blurry? We have approximate timeline now for starting all of this stuff. And so you came out around 12. You tried to come out around 12, and then it took you about, what was it, a year to get on blockers past that. How was that experience, trying to come out to family, and the approximately year it took for them to finally like stop denying it and get you medical attention?
So as the time went on, my mom was mainly my main focus of support because she was kind of like really all I had at that point.
You have family issues as well?
Yeah, my dad, but
You don't have to talk about this, but it's very common for trans people as well to have family issues, and that can impact this as well. If you would like to touch on that too, not necessarily now, later today, but yeah.
I was like, so like at that point, my mom had a partner, but I didn't really go to him because I wasn't as comfortable.
That's fair.
The whole thing is whatever.
Sounds complicated. That's okay.
So, my mom was in, I would say, straight denial for about, I want to say the first couple months. Where it was absolutely along the lines of, there is no way I'm gonna let you do any of this because this is bad, and, you were supposed to, Annie, no.
For the record, I have heard this as well. I'm fairly sure that's a somewhat common story as well. The whole, if you do this, I'm going to disown you, because I remember my mom saying that to me as well early on.
Hello, Alexis. But, yeah, no, that was how it was. I'm not really sure what changed. It changed into this thing where it was just like finding anything other than being trans. So it was just like, hey, could you be this thing? Could you be this thing? It was just kind of like anything to get out of the whole being trans spectrum. I'm just like, well, no, I'm pretty sure it's this. She eventually did her research, and by that point, about a year later, she decided that maybe, this was a real problem, and maybe we should go see a doctor about it.
So, okay.
So, yeah.
I'm actually interested. Were you aware of the idea of being trans at that young age as well? Or were you just having these thoughts of, I don't think I'm, my assigned gender. I think I'm a girl. Like,
I think I knew like a little bit about it, but it was mainly just I want to be a girl kind of thing.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay. So, all right. So your mom started doing research on this, and she eventually came around. Then I think you said.
Thankfully, yes.
Okay, that's good. Did you have any other family members helping you in this time as well, or was it only really your mom?
Really only mom.
Okay, that's fair. You have siblings, right?
Yes.
How was their reactions to your coming out as well? I'm curious.
So my brother, I'm not really sure. He was. I honestly don't know how he felt about it. I know that for him it was a gradual transition, to proper, pronouns and stuff. But to him, I'm not really sure what it was. I was trying to figure out my own thing, and he had his own stuff to worry about. So it's really hard to remember how he reacted to it. I do know my stepbrother's reaction because that was earlier on, and he was really nice and really receptive about it, and he was like, "Yeah, no, it's cool. It doesn't matter to me," which was really nice. So
That's
I would
good.
say with my brother there were some issues, but my stepbrother was generally completely accepting, which is pretty nice.
That's really good. I'm really glad to hear that. So okay, so you have your mom backing you finally. I think you don't like to reveal your location generally on the internet, right? Like your state that you live in, if that's correct.
At this point, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm curious what state you live in then, because I know it can be different depending on your state of this process.
Yeah, I live in Ohio.
You live in Ohio. Okay, and so I'm not as familiar with Ohio. I'm trying to remember where Ohio is. This is like Midwest, kind of maybe. Is that Central Time Zone or Eastern?
It's Eastern.
Okay, this is more East Coast. Okay, and so how good about trans stuff would you say Ohio is? Because I'm curious about this.
All right, so I don't know because I have not been kind of out of my city, or out of my general location of support. Like, I will say my school has been fantastic. At least staff have been like fantastic about.
I don't want to stop you real quick, but I just ripped my headphones out of my cord out. So can you just repeat the last 10 seconds? Because I hate my headphones. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really hard to say how Ohio is as a whole because I haven't really been outside of the general location of where my city is, and I am fortunate enough to have like pretty accepting people in my city as far as I know.
Gotcha.
At the very least, okay, well that's not entirely true. To say that, so like school staff, for example, are super accepting and they're fine with it, and they will do like everything in their power to make me comfortable as who I am, which is fantastic. That is, pretty much what I wanted. There are some people that have caused issues, because, but, I would say so far they've been relatively accepting.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that at least. And so I'm not too sure with Ohio. Like I'm in Washington, so my whole starting hormones was I found a doctor in Seattle. I went to her, I described what I had, and she was like, "Okay, here's a script for spironolactone and estradiol. Come back in a month." And that was that. So, and I'm guessing it probably wasn't your experience with puberty blockers, and which is specifically why I wanted to talk to you about today. It's just because I don't know at all what the process is for getting on puberty blockers is. And so I want to ask this, and I want to start going into this, but I need to take a very quick break to use the restroom. And so I'm gonna go ahead and give us a 5-minute break. So let's go ahead and do that. You good for a 5-minute break, Shojo?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, y'all. We will be back at the 30-minute mark as well. I need to use the restroom. When we get back, I'll answer the questions that we have in the overlay questions thing, which remember, y'all, that's a good way to make sure your questions actually get answered and read. And let's
I
turn
don't
some
see
music.
the-
What was that?
I don't see the overlay questions thing. I don't know. It's just not.
Do you have the
Oh, never
slobs
mind.
overlay?
I found
There
it.
you go.
Ha ha
Alright.
ha.
Alright, so I'm gonna mute the Discord, and then we are going to be right back. Be right back, y'all.
I am doing okay. I just feel a bit bad for the timeline thing, but you know. No. Yep. No, wait, no, they can hear me. Oh. Okay, good. Potentially.
Yep, I'm back, y'all. I forgot
Yep.
that that's how this works, so we were just having a talk. That's fine. Welcome back. I forgot how slobs work. But yeah, I am back. Just checking up with Shoujo here, talking about her stuff. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab my water cup real quick. Hey, look, everybody. Shoujo's being cute.
What?
Get called out, bish. Oh yeah, this is family friendly stream. Alright, I get away with one. It's Queer Talk Friday. This is fine.
It's PG-13, you get
I have
one.
officially sworn more than Shojo today. Anyways, yeah, this is fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started back up with the with the talks. So yeah, so let's talk about puberty blockers. So your mom, first off, I'm gonna leave a marker here. Your mom, did her research. She was the one that actually brought up the idea of puberty blockers, or was this something that you were thinking of?
Neither, actually. She, decided that after looking into it, it was a serious issue and an actual issue that it should be addressed, and so she decided to, schedule an appointment with a psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist. Okay. So was she under the impression of trying to cure your being trans, or what? Oh, I still have music on. That's my bad. Was she under the impression of trying to cure your transness, or what?
No. And after reading through several stories about how that's been the case, I am very lucky that that wasn't the case. But she went for somebody who actually knew what they were doing and was impartial to the issue.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. That's really good. Okay, so that's really good. I'm very glad. Wait. Oh, okay. Annie was talking about that. Okay, so you got to see a doctor. Is it very common for or psychs? Like, okay, first off, was your psych the one that ended up prescribing you hormone therapy?
Say again, sorry?
Was your psych the one that ended up prescribing you hormone therapy then?
No.
Okay. So, what was that process like then?
So, psychiatry was really, it was terrifying because this was the first doctor that I'd seen about it.
Uh-huh.
And this was okay. A point where if we were just trying to figure out what was wrong.
Uh-huh.
I still remember the most terrifying thing about that appointment was having to tell them the reason why I was there, and saying that they already knew the reason wasn't enough. I had to say, I'm here because I want to be a girl. That was the most terrifying sentence that I had to say at that point in time, because it's just like, to me it was like super odd and super strange and really a scary thing.
That takes a lot of guts, a lot of bravery to be able to do that, especially when you're not even familiar with trans people as a whole anyways. So I do commend you for that. I don't know if I would have had the guts when I was 18 at telling the doctor this, when I already knew multiple other trans people. So yeah, that's good on you. So you have this psych appointment, and how did that go? What was that like?
The rest of the appointment was uneventful. It was literally just asking me a bunch of questions about how I felt in certain scenarios, or how I felt like this or that, or what have you. A lot of it was like personal questions. End of it was basically just a diagnosis of gender dysphoria.
Gotcha.
So
cool. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that was a pretty big step.
Yeah, no, that definitely is. So cool. You have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and so what came next? What did the psych have you do?
So what did they want me to do? I think I had to keep seeing them, but the end result of that was, once I got diagnosed, my mom looked into it, even more, and I can't remember. I don't know who prescribed me, puberty blockers, but I know that is what came next.
Okay.
I want to say that it was the psychiatrist that ended up doing that, and then I was referred to an endocrinologist for
endocrinologist
diving deeper into hormones.
Okay, gotcha.
But I mean, there are plenty of gaps in that entire thing, so
that's fair. That is a-okay. So yeah, all right. So you saw an endocrinologist. That's like hormones and stuff, right?
Yeah, that was later on. or
Gotcha. So later on, and so okay, so you were on puberty blockers. So where'd you go? So psychiatrist and then endocrinologist, and it took about a year. You said to get on hormones.
yeah, so I don't remember who ended up prescribing puberty blockers. So it was either psychiatrist or endocrinologist,
Hmm.
probably not endo. I don't super remember, not gonna lie. It's hard to remember all this. I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Um
Do not worry about misremembering stuff. So
but eventually after several other psychiatry appointments and between then and getting on puberty blockers, I was referred to an endocrinologist who we had discussions with, and I don't think I ended up getting on hormones until the third-ish appointment because it was just getting things in order.
gotcha. So all right, is that part of the process then for why it took so long? Was just getting things in order, or was there any sort of like mandatory you have to wait this long before you can start you on hormones?
There was no mandatory waiting, which was
Interesting.
really nice.
Interesting.
It was getting things in order, making sure this was absolutely, oh, there was a little bit of waiting because it was making sure that this was absolutely what I wanted because it was irreversible and this and that, and I'm just like, I'm pretty sure I know better than you, but okay, I'll play your game.
It's not really irreversible, but some stuff is irreversible. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel ya. Um,
So,
okay, continue, please.
so yeah, it was just kind of like going back and forth between endocrinology and psychiatry and making sure that this was actually what I wanted and that this wasn't like a quote phase, end quote, or anything of the sort. Yeah.
You ever feel like it was actually a phase then?
Nope.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay.
It was just a lot of going back and forth, making sure that it was, actually what I wanted, and then end result of that was endo prescribed me hormones.
Gotcha.
And that was pretty nice.
Yeah. So I did. So then you didn't face any issues going on hormones at such a young age. Then they were just like, yeah, we'll give you hormones and what's good, right?
Yeah, they did not. So the combination of being on puberty blockers and then being on hormones posed no issues. So the puberty blockers were there just to suppress testosterone.
That's good. All right. So
So I never actually went through puberty, so it's nice.
well, I mean, you're going through. Hey, you're going through puberty right
Okay,
now.
all right, you know what I mean.
You never went through a male puberty, so that's
That's-
definitely gonna help because you're not gonna have bone growth, the muscle growth, the facial hair stuff. Gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm very happy that you have to experience that because it's really not that fun. So yeah, I'm glad that you're able to get on it so early. And I've had a conversation with someone past month or so about minors going on hormone therapy essentially, and this person was on the side of, do you really want a child being able to choose to essentially, you know as they described it, cut off their genitals at a young age, or something like that. How do you feel about being so young and being able to go on hormones? Do you think that this is something that is a good thing, or do you think it was like too easy and could lead to issues happening with people that could end up regretting this?
It was okay. Hi, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Um, this is actually, since you,
Gosh.
sorry.
No, I know what he's focused on here. It's okay.
Yes, I know, Pichu got nerfed. It's fantastic. It was not easy. People will say that it's easy. It was not easy.
What's not easy?
Going through this entire process, and I'm glad that you brought this up because to me, it is really, really odd to see people on the side of children should not be allowed to make this decision. I don't get why people are like that. I really don't get it because in my case, it was in my best interest to end up doing this, which was told by various doctors, making sure that, psychologically this was actually, the thing.
Yes.
And
yes.
stuff like that. It's just like, if your child doesn't get to make that decision, unfortunately. The doctors get to make that decision and make sure that you're actually not... That you're actually, like...
You actually want to do this. It's not just like... It's not like... Sorry.
Right, it's not just like going in and saying, here, okay, that sounds bad enough. I will, just go over to Endo and they'll give you a hormone. It's not like that at all. It's more like, let me take you through several appointments where I will ask you several personal questions to make sure that this is actually what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It is not just it's not just on a whim going and saying, yeah, this is what I want now. That's never how it's worked. That's not how it's going to work, because it will mess you up if this is actually not what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my case, it was, and I went through the proper channels, and every doctor was like, yes, this makes sense. This is, for you, this is what should be happening. And just thinking about the medical side of things, and the things that you have to go through in order to actually get onto blockers, or get on a part of hormones, or stuff like that, it is, it almost just makes zero sense to assume that children have no idea what they're talking about.
Gotcha. And honestly, my take on this side of it was that, look, a child has a sense of their gender identity at that age. That doesn't mean every child is going to understand that, they're trans at this point. But if a child is like, this is who I am, we shouldn't be telling them, no, this is not who you are. And honestly, I feel that there will be times where there are false positives, and unfortunately, those times do happen, and it's unfortunate. But at the same time, wait. Oh, Annie's being weird. Annie, come on. So
Annie's being Annie. Just
Annie's being Annie. I know. I love Annie. Annie's so sweet and pretty and everything. Anyways, at the same time, the difference okay, I feel like, first of all, I don't know what your opinion is on this, or if you've read anything about this, but I'm fairly sure the false positive rate for children starting hormone therapy, especially since they have to go through psyche evals and everything,
it is extremely low.
Exactly. This is you're talking about just like what, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000, like.
Yeah, it's
basically a non-issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so, plus, in my experience, from what I know, people, when they start hormones, will generally know immediately if the hormones are right for them. I don't know how much on the male to female side, though I really don't like using that terminology, but unfortunately we have to use this instance. On the male to female side, I don't know if it's as obvious, but I've heard on the female to male side, and if anybody in chat is trans masculine hormone therapy, have gone through that, I would love to have this corroborated or told is wrong. From what I've been told, taking testosterone, immediately, oh my gosh, this is not for me, this is actually really wrong. In my experience with hormones, I didn't know. Once I started taking it, it wasn't some sort of like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense, I already feel better. I really didn't notice changes for a very long time, and I don't know how it was for you, Shojo. You might not be even able to relate to that side since you never had the male puberty, but just it's strange to me that we're like, we should not allow children to make this important decision just in case they don't actually want it, even though.
I don't know why.
What?
I really don't understand why that's an issue. Like, it.
Yeah, especially since puberty can be so destructive to a trans person. Like, in myself, a lot of the dysphoria that I currently have is no longer from a social or a mind perspective. It's almost in purely, like, because you're familiar with the 3 types of dysphoria, right? Sure you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, my perspective, the only things I'm really dysphoric now are purely stuff that if I had gone on puberty blockers, I wouldn't be dysphoric anymore. just facial hair growth, some body structure stuff, etc. And so that's the mainly the only things I have issues with. And so I've heard this from more than one person. Just the whole children should not be able to make this permanent decision with them. But I've okay. So this is kind of going into an opinion side of this, and I'm interested in your opinion on this, or if you know more about this than I do, because from what I've read, so I've read a lot of mixed reports, but what I have read most recently that I think sounded more like there's more truth to that was, even if you are on hormone therapy and have been doing this for a while, if you discontinue hormone therapy, stuff like reproductive organ functionality will come back, and your normal hormone levels, the natural hormone levels that your body was producing from your puberty onwards, those will return normal. I don't know if you've heard anything about that or what your thoughts on that.
No, that is true.
That is true? Yeah, so it's like, even though there are permanent changes, such like, breast growth and stuff like that, those changes, once you go off of hormones, they will come back. And on top of that, there are stuff to, you can fix those changes. So, I really don't think... what are you saying? Emily?
Yeah, there's nothing, like, so destructive / so terrible that it's irreversible, or it's, going to haunt you for the rest of your life. If you reach a point where you know that isn't right for you, then you just end up getting off of hormones, and there you go. Because all of this stuff is going to come back. It's like going through the wrong puberty is much more irreversible. Nofi has it exactly right.
Yep, and that's exactly what my response to this person was as well. But I feel like I don't think this is just a trans thing as well. With other medical stuff too, I feel like there's this idea of what's the word? Like this idea of why make one irreversible change, quote unquote irreversible change that you chose to do, versus why not just let your body do the natural change that it had. There's this, I think this mentality of your body is doing what it does, and you should let your body do what it does because that's the way it was built. But I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, or do you want to kind of move on from this point?
I'm really glad that you brought it up, because that is one of the things that I have been wanting to talk about. It's just like, it all boils down to I don't get it.
You don't get it? Is this something that you've spent a lot of time thinking about or talking with people about?
It's just from who I am, and then looking at the perspective of these people. While I understand that there are, personal perspectives, and I respect them, I also am allowed to not understand said perspectives, especially being who I am. It just kind of, like, bugs me that people are the way they are. It almost feels like it's based off of... There's not enough factual evidence that they've looked into to support their opinion.
Gotcha. And for the record as well, these people that I've talked to this stuff, I've heard this from both cis and trans people as well. So this isn't just necessarily a cis people having these thoughts. But yeah, so I'm glad that you gave your opinion on this, because I think this is something we really should talk more about. We really should be. When it comes to stuff like this, we need to hear about people's perspectives. We need to hear about your perspective. Also, no feet for the record. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I should be doing that, but you know what? I'm no quitter, so I'll do it my tough way. But we need to hear more about your perspective on this, because ultimately you are the person that is being affected by this. You are the person that needs this. So, So yeah,
no.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much y'all have been watching the level in the background. I've been making slow progress here. I don't know how far I am into it. I haven't seen a checkpoint yet. Is there checkpoints in this level? No feet?
Yes.
How many checkpoints?
2.
How far am I into this level?
Not very.
I might skip it at the hour mark and try another troll level, just because of how long this is taking. There are at least 2 checkpoints. Oh gosh, yeah. I'll give this another 5 minutes. Or 3 minutes. Jeez, I thought I'd been doing okay. So, yeah, I think this is something important to talk about, and if we want to circle back around to this sort of thing later on today, we can also definitely do that, but I do think I want to just move on from this and start talking about just something else, just because of
Yeah, that
we
makes
don't
sense.
have
Like, that's
too
all
much
I
time.
got.
So, okay. And I will pick your brain later about this, of course. But, okay, so there's an aspect of this transition that we haven't talked about. And this is something that I think people don't generally think about when it comes to transitioning. But in my opinion, it's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard level to do while having an involved conversation. Yeah, that's fair. And so I know, Novi, it's all good. So when it comes down to it, in my opinion, when you are transitioning, you are not the only person transitioning, because everybody in your life is also suddenly going through a transition as well. Like, despite the fact that, like, honestly, it shouldn't be that difficult to just switch someone's name and switch someone's pronouns. Unfortunately, it is. In my personal hypothesis on this is that everybody has their own caricature of everybody else in their head, and once something shakes the foundation of that caricature, people more likely than not are going to have a hard time changing the way that they perceive people in their head, which is where you'll get this idea of, I think this is what leads to family members being in denial of your being trans. It's just like, I've had this idea of who this person is going to be, and now that they are challenging this, I have a hard time accepting this, because it challenges so greatly this idea of who I thought they were going to be. Yeah, the trans agenda, I know, right? So you are not the only person transitioning in this regard, and we've touched on your family, but what we haven't touched on is the social side of it outside of your family, the schooling side of it. I'm curious, from the timeline that we have, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, etc., how has it been transitioning from a school perspective? What's your experience been like? How have you been treated? I'm really interested to hear a lot about this. So let's move into that. Yeah.
I've got one school story from the end of last year.
All right.
And I will get to that one later.
Sure.
But I kind of started social transition, I want to say 8th grade.
8th grade. Okay. How old were you then?
I was, oh god, ages.
Were you on puberty blockers by here? If you can't remember ages, just like give us a reference for puberty blockers and hormones, etc.
No, I can figure this out.
Because that was 2 years ago, I'm guessing, right? Because you are about to, I'm guessing you just graduated as a sophomore?
Yes.
Okay.
So sophomore year was 14.
Okay, so 14. Okay, so this was after being on hormones for, like, some time now, right?
No.
No, okay, so before hormones.
Let me look at what my time...
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I said hormone was 14, 15. So it was this was before hormones, actually. Yes.
Okay, so before hormones.
So I would say it's more the 14 and a half, 15, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay, sure.
So I understand, and I did understand, that it takes time to socially transition for everybody. Like, you're not going to immediately look at this person that you've known for a bit and be like, hey, I'm yeah, right.
Unless,
I remember
yeah,
now.
Unless you're queer, but yeah.
Yeah, like,
even then.
queer people do understand, and I feel like they have a much easier time of being able to use correct pronouns and correct names, like, almost immediately. But, like, even, like, I myself will slip up with some people.
That's fair. And there's nothing wrong with slipping up, as long as it's recognized. I still slip up with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you.
But I understood the gradual transition, so what I ended up doing before my, so before fully transitioning to who I am, I ended up deciding to go for a nickname that was kind of a mixture of, previous dead name and and my name now.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up letting people just call me M.
Okay.
EM. And then whatever pronouns they decided, I wanted she, her, which is what I would push people towards.
And this was was this before you came out socially, or was this the beginning of your coming out socially?
This is the beginning of
Okay.
it. I came out to a few people about it,
Mm-hmm.
but this was like before the full social transition.
Okay.
So I ended up having people call me M, and
That's fair.
I would kind of and pronouns were whatever, but I kind of wanted to push people towards she, her,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a bit easier to do because I had teachers that didn't really know.
Okay.
But
Didn't really know what.
I guess this was the beginning of the social transition.
Gotcha. So okay, and I can actually relate to this because when I actually remember like a lot of specific dates when it comes to my transition because of just writing it down and memorizing and having to do it. So like I remember the date and time that I realized I was trans. It was October 28th, 2016 at about 2 a.m. because I had spent several hours at this point reading research studies about this because I was trying to convince myself essentially that I was trans. I was trying to let myself be who I was finally. And I finally had this at like 2 a.m. And 2 hours later, I also chose what was ultimately to be my now name, Marceline, or Marcy for short as I go now. And side note as well, the reason I chose that was I loved Marceline the Vampire Queen from Adventure Time, and I really liked the name of her. And so I was like, when I was younger, I was actually like, if I ever have a daughter, I would like to name her Marceline because I really like that name. And then 2 hours after coming out as finally coming out to myself, not even to anybody else. Although I think I texted a few people that I knew were trans or queer themselves just to be like, hey, I think I finally realized who I am. But yeah, 2 hours into it, and I was thinking about names and what I should go by if I did this, and I was just like, oh, I really like the name Marceline, and it just stuck immediately from there. And so literally from the day that I realized I was trans, I've had my name, and I've thought of myself as this. However, I mean, I didn't go by Marceline. In fact, when I was first starting to come out, because I came out in university, I came out, it was I was staying in the art hall, and there was already a lot of queer people there and other trans folk that I knew and interacted with, and so it was very easy for me to be like, hey y'all, I'm actually, I'm trans. So I'd actually been already referring to myself as gender fluid for a few months at this point, just because I was questioning, and at the time, I thought I was going to be like, oh, okay, I'm actually a girl, and I was just using gender fluid as a way to get to there, but I've actually, 2 years later, I've swung back and I'm like, no, I'm definitely gender fluid. I just want to be seen as a girl, because gender expression and gender identity are two different things, and they are an F word. Because yeah, so when I came out and when I first started transitioning, I didn't have people call me Marceline or Marcy. I actually had people call me Mars starting out because I felt it was an androgynous name, and since I was still just coming out and I wasn't on hormone therapy and I didn't have like any way to present myself as female, I just wanted a more androgynous name. First off, a more androgynous name in the first place, and second off, I wanted something that could ease the transition towards Marcy as well. So I went by that for a few months. I still have people that will occasionally call me that as well, that knew me from that time, because I still go by it. But yeah, so okay, so you started. Sorry to talk so long about my side of things.
No, and that experience is kind of exactly the same thing that I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I wanted to make it easier on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of the whole thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything that you said is kind of like very relatable in that aspect. So.
Gotcha. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting to hear, since I mean the age difference between us doing this is so different. But okay, so you started coming out. Is where, I don't want to necessarily get into the politics side of this, but is where you were living a more conservative or liberal area for schooling?
Schooling, I want to say liberal.
Liberal. Okay, so did you then have as far as going and starting this out, how I'm guessing you didn't come out to everybody at first. It was probably a slow process of telling people that you really trusted, and then less so, etc., etc., etc. How long did that process of fully coming out take for you, do you think?
That actually did not happen. I threw it all out there.
Really?
So here
wow.
is
Okay.
Yep, here's what I decided to do. So, in my 8th grade year, I had a fantastic English teacher that I really trusted, and I ended up telling her, and she was fully supportive, and she was like just really amazing, really kind, super amazing. We ended up having a project over a memoir.
What's a memoir?
Hmm?
What's a memoir?
Oh, it's kind of just like a sort of.
Memoir?
Why do I not remember what this is?
You mean a memoir, or
Yes, I can't pronounce
it's
properly.
like just a recognizing?
It's
or
an It's pretty
Okay.
much just an autobiography about
Okay.
a story.
Okay, I was wondering if you're talking about something else. I don't mean to like call you out for mispronunciations because I do the same all the time. So
I can't word.
no, it's
You should-
okay. There's a lot of things you can do good, so it's okay not to.
We had a project revolving around that, and
Mhm.
I ended up choosing the book. Let me make sure I have the. Yep. Let me
Go ahead, take your
remember
time.
the name of the book because I know
Take your
they're
time.
different.
So I think we have about at least 2 hours left in terms of what you wanted, in terms of schedule time. Of course, we can go later than that. The stream will go on for another 2 hours past noon as well, and you can feel free to stay on as long or as little as you want as well, because
Oh, yeah.
time is not an issue here. But yeah, please
So-
take your time.
This was alright, so this was a really tough thing to do, but for this project I ended up choosing the book Being Jazz.
I'm
They're
unfamiliar with it.
based on it's just a book written by Jazz Jennings, which is the trans teen that has like the TV show and stuff. But,
Oh, I've never heard of them.
no,
interesting.
but to me they were it was kind of like a really cool opportunity to be able to discuss trans things and be like try to relieve some of the stigma, I guess, and kind of gauge how receptive people are going to be. Towards the end of the presentation, I just kind of threw it all out there, and I'm just like, yeah, the reason I chose this one is because I am trans, so there you go.
Yes! Oh my gosh, that's awesome! Oh my god, you are my hero, Shojo. Oh my gosh. Like, I was not that bold or brave. I am... Wow.
To this day, I am entirely unsure as to what made me do that, because it was very difficult. It was very nerve-wracking. But, like, me being me, I would probably never do something like that again. Just being so reserved and so anxious. But I'm really glad I did.
Gotcha.
It was basically my coming out to the school, because, word travels pretty fast.
Yeah.
That was that.
Were there any other queer or trans folk at your school as well, or are you the first one, in a way?
There was one that I knew.
Okay.
There were probably several others, but it was definitely not the first.
Did this lead to you becoming their friend, essentially? I'm curious.
No, because I
Okay.
never really got to meet them.
Annie?
Did I?
What?
I'm laughing at Annie.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Annie's joke. Not
I
laughing
no,
at Annie.
I
Whatever.
It's I get you. You
You
are
know-
fine. You're fine, Shojo. Don't worry, Emily.
This is what I do on a regular basis. You can't just tell me not to worry when I'm gonna immediately.
It's okay.
What was I saying?
You were talking
No, I
about
can't even remember.
immediately coming out to everyone,
Right.
and then the person that was also trans, and you weren't really their friend.
So it didn't, open up any new friendships, but it definitely let people know that I was there and that I was pretty much just the same person, but now I'm a girl, and that's how that works. Hey, Glitch.
Hey, Glitched. Good morning. I gotcha. Okay.
That's pretty much how that happened, and then I decided to I decided that it was really good timing, because high school was when I decided that I was just gonna present full time, and that was gonna be that.
Wow.
So
you just went full time in high school. Just wow. Look at you. I
It's so weird because the whole coming out thing and then just starting to present came just completely on a whim. That's not to say that there was no preparation, because there absolutely was, and
yes,
doing the whole thing is extremely nerve-wracking,
of
but
course.
it worked.
It sounds like it did. I mean, look, you're here. You're queer. Get used to it. That sort of thing. Yeah. So, okay. So that just came out. You just came out really quickly, and I'm guessing. Was it a fairly smooth and positive experience then? Where did you have any social issues about this? Did you have people like reject you because of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, so everyone, I would say, kinda, if they had negative thoughts, kept them to themselves, except one specific person.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I will not forget this. I have not forgotten.
You want to lampoon them right now? You don't have to talk about this for the record.
You know what? It's probably a good thing to talk about.
Sure, then go ahead and talk about it.
This is how this went. So for everyone else, it was no big deal. My teachers all called me, by correct pronouns and correct name.
Good.
My friends call me correct pronoun, correct name. Nobody really had a problem with it, and if they did and they kept it to themselves, that's fine. Whatever. The awakening in terms of not everyone is going to be cool with this, and there are some people that are going to be absolute jerks about it, was, at the very end of my freshman year of high school, we had a presentation where I, was required to dress up, so, I don't like dressing up, that's just me. I don't enjoy that.
That makes sense.
But I ended up dressing up in a dress and then just bringing a change of clothes to change immediately after my presentation.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's
I
great.
did my presentation and then I went to go change. And I went into the female bathroom because I even talked about counselors with this and stuff, and they didn't have a problem with it.
Good.
So I did my own thing, waited till everyone left, and thought everyone had left so I could leave because, anxiety's a thing. No, there was still one person out there, and this person had previously bullied me and was just being not generally nice. And they were basically just totally calling me out, being like, what are you doing in here? You're sick, you are
Was this
gross.
a boy or a girl?
This is a girl.
Okay.
You are sick, you are gross, you shouldn't be here because you have a penis. And I'm just like, you know what? I basically told them to F off, and that was that. But that was really a point in time where it was just like, huh. People are still gonna be like this, aren't they?
Yep. Unfortunately, that is the case. So yeah, one person. So you probably could handle that, right? I mean, it sucks.
I can handle one person, but it left me. Well, it hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
I've had no run-ins with anyone else in school, which is really nice.
Really glad to hear that.
That person still terrifies me. To the point where it's like, they were in my math class this year, which sucked having to see them on a consistent basis, because I feel like it's reasonable at this point to say that I really, really don't like them.
Yeah, that's fair. It's totally reasonable.
And there was a point at about the middle of the year where in that math class we had a project and we had to pair up with people. And my random pairing happened to be this person. And you would have no idea, because I was in front of the teacher at that point, and as soon as she said that was the person I was paired with, like, I just froze, and it was not.
Did you?
She looked.
No,
she looked at my face, and she's just like, you know what, we'll take care of it, and that was that. And I got really, really lucky that she was nice enough to do that.
Oh, that she recognized that you shouldn't be paired with that person?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I was gonna be like, if you have a class with this person, I hope you've at least talked to your teachers, like, do not ever pair me with this person because of the harassment I've gone through. But it was, like,
amazing how much one person can influence you in the future. It sucks a whole lot.
We tend to remember our detractors a bit too well compared to our supporters, and I can very much relate to this. I still remember some of the insults that I got in middle school. I remember one specific insult where I had someone tell me at one point that I didn't have a personality, that there was nothing unique or interesting about me when I was, like, in 8th grade. And that one still hurts, and I still struggle with that one. It's it's wild to me how something from so long ago, from someone of like so little significance in my life, can still affect me so much. And being in this person's presence, like, it's hard. I'm sure it's hard. I'm sure it sounds hard, and it's like, despite the fact that, rationally we should be like, oh, this shouldn't be this hard, and like, oh, we have all these other people that support us, and it's only this one person that is the outlier. Like, despite that, dysphoria just hits us in such a just disgusting way, and so I'm really sorry to hear that.
No, but I don't know. So I just wanted to bring that up because in terms of transitioning in school, everything has been like the best that it can be, and it was extremely amazing.
Gotcha.
And it was, I was lucky to have the support that I did. I am lucky to have the support that I have.
Gotcha.
And at this point, it's natural.
It's natural? What?
But just that is that reminder that not everything is going to be as smooth as it should be, and there are some people that still hate you just because you're you.
Yep.
And it's hard to forget those moments.
It is. Okay, and so
beyond that, though, I do want to stress that
Go
it's
ahead.
been really excellent.
I'm glad. I'm glad that it has been really excellent. I am going to take this opportunity. I think this is a good time for another break as well. I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and give yourself just 5 minutes, Shoujo. I'm gonna talk to the chat just a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and mute our Discord call, but yeah, I'm gonna talk to them. Just yeah. So muting you. They'll be right back in a few minutes. I'll let y'all know. So bye, Shoujo.
Bye.
So, all right, they're muted now. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and take just a break to. I'm gonna use the restroom, get some drinks, get some drank, all that stuff. Hi, Sadie, how are you doing today, my friend? By the way, Color Theory, thank you very much for that follow earlier. I do greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a good morning, good day, good afternoon, good early morning, good late morning, good early afternoon, good early night, good witching hour, good second breakfast, good supper, good tea time, good witching hour. But you should reserve your late nights for your beauty rest because you do deserve it. And I hope you enjoyed your happy little parrot dance. I'm gonna mute the Discord as well so they don't hear both of me. But yeah, so on top of that, take this opportunity to remind you all that you should definitely follow me on Twitter for all updates on the Queer Talk Fridays as well, and to get updates for when this will be posted to YouTube. My beauty rest is non-existent. You deserve your beauty rest, Color Theory. And make sure to join the Discord if you want to ask any questions for future Queer Talk Fridays. We have a channel in there, Ask an Autistic Tran, as well. We're a wonderful community. If you have any questions that you want to ask either of us as well, you can feel free to say them in the chat as well, or past that, you can always ask a question at the overlay here. We have an ask a question thing. I'll go ahead and give everybody points in chat if you want to ask any question whatsoever. Give you all 50 points. Feel free to ask anything. Nothing is off limits, of course, unless something ends up being uncomfortable. But yeah, feel free to ask anything. And by the way, y'all, as a reminder, 50% of all 50% of all bits and sub points that we get today will be going to the Tacoma Rainbow Center. It is a local organization that offers resources to queer folk in the area. They actually personally helped me when I first came out as trans. They sponsored me for 4 therapy sessions with a local sexologist who's like one of the best people in the area for trans stuff. And so 50% of all the subs and bits will be going to that. We also are offering, for $5, you can have your level be played by skipping the queue, played immediately, especially since we've been playing, levels slowly like this too. And 100% of all the Mario Maker level donations and such will be going to the Rainbow Center. And if we hit $20, I will be attempting to beat Pangaea Panga's Skyzo at the end of the stream as well. And considering I am very new to Kaizo stuff in Mario Maker, it's probably not going to go too well. But yeah, let me get back and read through the chat real quick, and then I'm going to take a real quick break. High school bully told people I was going to shoot. Oh my gosh. Glitch Goddess, I am so sorry. Jeez Louise, that's terrifying. I'm so sorry to hear that. Am I reading this right? It says troll levels. We're welcoming you to paradise. Yes, troll levels. Submit them. I want to play them. You gotta go soon to girlfriend to her date. Will you be back soon, Annie, then? Yeah, Sadie. Marcy says she wants troll levels. I don't think she's able to concentrate enough for a troll level right now. Yeah, you know what? Just mid A levels. It's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take a real quick break to use the restroom. We're gonna play some music, and then we'll be back and continuing our conversation with Emily ToransuShojo, the Shoujo. Yep, be right back, y'all. Alright, y'all. We are back, or rather, I'm back, and I hope Shojo's back. Emily's back. I want to get the name right. Ask a question, won't even let me type. Yeah, so if it doesn't work in all browsers for whatever reason. I don't really know. But Emily, are you here? Are you back? Are you here, BB?
I don't know.
There you are. Let me respond back to chat, and I'm going to answer a couple questions, because we've gotten a couple questions. If you're having troubles with the overlay, by the way, I would recommend switching either to Firefox or Chrome. Like, I use Firefox and it doesn't really work out, so I have to switch to Chrome, but I don't really like it. I want to add a way to do it in chat as well, but yeah. Yeah, there's stuff in queue from... Yeah, sorry about that, Rob. I removed some stuff, so... And it's only one thing right now, so yeah, I went and did that. By the way, y'all, if you want to add another level to the queue, since we only have one right now, it's $2.50, and all of the proceeds from that are going to the charity. I'm not taking a penny of that. So, yeah, it's not working in Firefox. I'm sorry to hear that, Blue. Your blanket acts like a green screen. I know, right? It's great. It's my invisibility cloak. There's a new version of the extension. Twitch wanted me to bug you about that. Oh, is there? Hold on. Because I need to check that. Do you think that Twitch as a platform is helping to increase awareness and understanding about LGBTQ issues? It seems like a pretty safe place to be yourself and talk about these kinds of identity-related politics, and I wonder if I'm reading too much into it and that everyone is just here to play games and make friends. You know, Color Theory, that's actually a really good question, and I think I kind of want to, before we continue just going into the personal side of Shoujo stuff, like Shoujo, I think this would be a good thing to talk about. Would you want to talk about this for a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so before we start that, I'm going to go ahead and just check what's up with my overlay.
I sent you the link in Discord to the new one, by the way.
Okay, cool. Let me check that. Come on, Twitch. Please load. Please load Twitch. Why are you not loading Twitch? I'm at 160p. Twitch. Why are you?
Because Twitch is incredible.
Oh, that's Streamlabs Bits, though. I'm not using Streamlabs Bits.
It's the new... Well, it's the new version of... It's... Okay, it said it's the new version of the same extension. So presumably you can still tie loyalty points into it.
Because we're using the Streamlabs overlay, so I'm like... Hold on. Let me see if it's giving me that thing. Because first off, my stream won't even load for me right now. My internet is just not too good today, for whatever reason. It's probably because my siblings are both home.
Yeah, there's still... Yeah, like, there's still an option to redeem points in the pictures.
Okay. Yeah, because, like, I'm not getting a pop-up myself, but redeem Mercy Coin, ask a question. Oh, it's only 25. Okay, cool. Can I type in here? Yeah, I can't type in that. So, hold on. Let me add I'm gonna add a thing real quick. As well.
Dab.
Dabbing.
I don't know. Why are you not dabbing?
To answer your question.
There you go.
And that.
Everyone who watches my stream knows that I dab on a regular basis, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Don't worry.
I cannot tell.
Well, it's bad. It's not good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm trying to look into this because I want to add another way, just an in-chat way to do this. So I'm actually looking at some documentation just really quickly. Trying to find this. So where is? Well, I want parameters. That's right. Not just that. So we're gonna figure this out really quickly. But yeah, so let's go ahead and... Oh gosh, a different lucky draw. Okay. By the way, Scotty Fox made a hilarious level. I wanted to show it to you. Please, I love Scotty Fox. I paid for this privilege. I will use it as I please. There you go. By the way, Shoujo, before we answer that question, that Color Theory post, because I think it's a really good question. I really do want to do that. Also, Sadie, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. I do greatly appreciate it, and I hope you have a good morning, good day, good afternoon, good early morning, good late morning, good early morning, afternoon, good late afternoon, good second breakfast, good supper, good lunch, good tea time, good witching hour, good early night. But you should reserve your late nights for your beauty rest because you do deserve it, and I hope you enjoyed your happy little bear dance. I'm working on becoming an auctioneer. And I'm trying to get through these as fast as possible. Okay, so can you go ahead and answer? I had the first question is from Annie, and I want to ask you this, Shoujo. Can you answer? Would you mind answering a question real quick while I work on the documentation?
Yeah.
All right. So Annie's first question. So what was harder, transitioning to girl or transitioning to mom?
You want a real answer or a joke answer?
Both.
Real answer is obviously transitioning to female, because there's a lot more effort that goes into that. I would say. That said, transitioning to mom was very awkward.
Really? How so?
I don't know, when people just kind of show up and say, hey, you're my mom now. Oh, when did that happen?
I haven't made you uncomfortable with doing the stream mom as well, have I?
You know what? At this point, it's just a thing, so no.
Okay, so, like, because that's... I want to talk to you about this later, by the way, because I feel like sometimes when I'm in your chat, I might come off as, like, trying to take too much attention, or I might come off as just, like, being uncomfortable.
I haven't noticed anything, so
okay.
You're fine.
Okay, good. Because I don't... Just, I'm gonna air my dirty laundry, I guess, on stream. I don't want to come off as that way in your stream. I feel like I can be an attention whore at times, and I really don't want to make you uncomfortable. You are a very important friend to me, so... Yes, she does have big mom energy. Okay, so that was the first question, and the other question was, the other question is also from Annie. Have you seen Thor Ragnarok? Not to spoil, but there's a scene about it being someone's birthday, and I want you to play that on your birthday. This is only sort of a question.
Fact about me, I don't like superhero movies.
Me either.
I have not seen, like, any movie at all in the past, several years.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, I can't really... You know what? If it pleases you, on my actual birthday, I will actually find the clip and I will actually play it.
And Shojo, then I'm gonna ask you, since you don't like to... Oh my gosh, hold on! Ah!
Whoa!
Sinful with the gift bomb! Can we get some freaking... What emotes do I have? Can we get some Marcy H and Marcy Ayaya in the chat, by the way? By the way, y'all, if you don't have a gift sub by now, you can use the Frankerface G versions. Get some hype in the chat. Sinful with the 5 gift sub bomb. Thank you very much, Sinful. I do appreciate that. And so that is $1.25 times 5. That is $6.25 towards our goal as well. I'm gonna go ahead and update the... Wait.
Woohoo!
Oh, I just realized the other day when you donated $10, Shojo, did that go to... Did you do a credit card transaction?
Yeah.
I just realized that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and update this, so... Queer Talk Friday.
Do you want more money?
I'm not asking for money, I was just wondering what it was. So, I mean, yes, I want more money, but we don't have to. I'm not outright asking, don't worry. What is the settings? Does it include... Okay, it doesn't do that, that's fine. I don't have a sub, I'm a sad. It's okay, Sadie. You'll get it soon. We get a lot of gift subs in here, which is awesome. But let me get back in here. Sinful, thank you so much for that gift sub, Mom. I do really appreciate it. And who got it? So we got Bullet Bill Time got one, Andrew got a tier sub, Julicent, Color Theory, Daddy-O. Congrats to you all for your gift subs. Enjoy the emotes. There will be more to come soon as well. So, oh yeah, here's Thor Ragnarok.
I will watch it right now. Ow, that slapped.
Do you want to show this on stream?
I'm watching it right now.
Okay, I'll show this on stream. But yeah, enjoy your emotes. I'm gonna show this just so because we have time. It's safe for stream. Okay, good.
Oh no. I love it. You win. You win.
I've never seen this movie before, so I have no idea what's going on. What is this like Transformers or something? Oh, wait, no, that's that dude.
It says it right there.
Oh, yeah, Thor Ragnarok. But yeah, thank you very much, Sin, for that gift sub bomb. You are the best. I love you, friend. Before I ever watched this channel. Yeah, you got a gift sub. I remember that. You got a gift sub to this channel? Yeah, because Annie gave it to you. But yeah, is Sinful here? Back to lurking, still working? Yeah, Sinful. Please, work. Love you, friend. But yeah, by the way, y'all, we do have the donation goal up there, and any donations that go to adding another level to the queue or skipping the queue to be played or to have your level be played next, will be going straight to that. I think I got you gifts of you both. There you go, Annie. Yeah.
No, Kismet. No, Kismet gift subbed to me to no fee. It was you that.
What level is that?
Oh, hi, Scotty.
Scotty Fox. Someone just submitted a lucky draw, so.
There are multiple versions of Lucky Draw, and all of them are BS.
Gotcha. So which one is this? Hold on, let me.
We should.
Because someone submitted Lucky Draw rigged, so.
We should just play Lucky Draw in the background while we talk.
I don't want to. I want to play a game.
I know.
Hey, Blackbird. All right, so let's go back. Okay, let's go back to this. So we answered this question. The original was uploaded in 2018. That's ham. Okay, so I'm gonna go back up because we had color theories question. I'm actually gonna write this down. Because we like to write down like big questions that are asked on here. That's my level of the rigged one. Yeah, I figured someone came in here. Wait, Sadie, I think, was the one that submitted it. So, yeah, how you doing today, Scotty Fox? By the way, my friend, it's always great to see you. Let's get. I'm gonna shout out Scotty Fox. Y'all should go follow Scotty Fox, another family-friendly streamer. They are awesome. They're great. They're super sweet, super kind. I love them. Twitch's obsession with Lucky Draw is weird since there's been countless basically identical levels. Yeah, I know. I've seen Steve do stuff like this before, so. I didn't say hi, by the way, so hi. No problem, Bullet Bill. Hope you're having a good day. By the way, hey, Fly. Hey, Bullet Bill. Lots of familiar faces in chat today. I'm also going to give a shout-out to Fly Agaric as well, because they are awesome. You should go check them out. I need to watch them as well, but yeah, that's fine. Am I following them already? I'm going to check real quick. We're just giving some follows, and we will be getting back to our regular scheduled program here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and
regularly scheduled programming.
Yes. What did I say? Alright, so I'm adding this. We have a spreadsheet of questions that we do, that I like to write down. So this is from Color Theory, and this was on 5/31/2019. Yeah, especially the bigger questions, because stuff like that, I think, very much deserves a lot of attention.
Oh boy.
So, what?
Sorry, nothing. I was, you know what, don't worry about it. Hello, everybody! I love y'all!
Wait, hold on. Oh, Bullet Bill, thank you for the host, by the way. Oh, I also need to do something for Sin in a moment. I forgot about that. I made a sprite limit RNG manipulation for 100% success rate. I just uploaded those more, but I think you might like. Nice. Fly, we miss you. Alright, I haven't streamed in ages. Fly, why haven't you streamed in ages? By the way, Sin. Thank you very much, XX Sinful XX, for your gift forms on my stream today. I appreciate you, you are great. I need to watch Scoots more often so I can hang out with you more. Love you, friend, you are great. Thank you very much, Sinful, for your gifts, sub bomb today. Shojo, can you do a verse for me? I'll strum in the background. Say something.
Oh, goodness. No, you...
Thank you, Shojo, for that wonderful solo.
You
Better
put
in it,
me on. I was not prepared.
Yes.
I can sing, but not, like, just...
That was the point, was to get you off guard, so... And also...
Well, you succeeded.
Love you, Shojo. Love you, Em. Bullet Bill time. Thank you very much for your host this morning. Oh, let's get some flute action in here, by the way, y'all, because we got this. We get the flute action. Let's do this.
I'm pretty sure that's an ocarina.
It's a flute, okay? It's definitely an ocarina. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Y'all want an actual flute? Let's do this. You know what?
Oh,
You're gonna make me break this out.
We're
doing this. We're doing this.
What have I done?
We're doing this. Red headphone users,
What have
indeed.
I done?
We're doing this. I need to make sure this keeps on practicing as well, but here we go. Here we go.
I don't know.
I don't know how to play this anymore. All right, so let's start with that question. Enough goofing around. We've had our fun. We've had a nice little break. Bursting Burgundy. I don't know what that is. Oh, is that like from Anchorman? That could be from Anchorman. All right, so color theories question. Watch this. It's hilarious.
No, thank you. Yes, that gives me the opportunity to delete the clip.
Sadie, Sadie, you need to ask for a permit. What's the clip?
Done. Boom. Well, it doesn't matter, does it? It's gone now.
Something about her forehead. If you are uncomfortable with this, we will stop talking about this, Shojo.
Well, it's gone now, so it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Yeah, Sadie, just so you know, you have to ask for a link. Oh no, you're fine. I'm not. You are okay, Sadie. I am not upset with you. It is a-okay. That's why we just purge. So it is not. You are not in trouble. You are a-okay. I'm actually gonna go ahead and update the rules real quick for my stream. Excuse me. To also reflect the fact that we have that way. So let me go to moderation. A permit for links.
I want to do
else
Twitch
you will
things
be
someday.
purged. We should do Twitch things together. Because I actually do the duets as well. So
I was no feats.
Can I post a link? Yes, you can. Is Emily making a little pew pew noise in the background? Yes, she is. Here's a permit.
Pew pew.
By the way, y'all, I keep forgetting to do this, but for $5 as well, next time we take a break, I will perform a song of your choice on Twitch things as well. So, which 50% of that will be going towards charity. All right, what is this clip?
I don't know. What is it?
It's been deleted.
It's gone.
Yep.
Bits for funsies.
Thank you for the biddy, Scotty Fox. You're the best. Okay, let's finally answer, or actually start talking about this question. I think we've had enough fun. We're gonna move on. Enjoy your third place, Scotty Fox. Scotty, you're awesome. I love you. You are a good friend. All right, so the question is, once again, do you think that Twitch as a platform is helping to increase awareness and understanding about LGBTQ issues? It seems like a pretty safe place to be yourself and talk about these kinds of identity-related topics, but I wonder if I'm reading too much into it and that everyone is just here to play games and make friends. So I have an opinion about this, but I want you to answer this first.
That.
Yes, I can. Into the Discord?
Yes.
So I'm actually going to write some stuff down about this as well. So...
That is a great question.
It's an absolutely, it's a fantastic question, and it's something that I've actually, part of the reason that Queer Talk Friday exists is specifically to answer that sort of question. And so I'm gonna go ahead and let Shojo be the one that starts talking about this while I continue to work on this level, because it's been 18 minutes on this level. That doesn't sound right at all, but
yeah. So this is a very, very interesting question. So Twitch as a platform is really good. It's a really good place for like people of all types, to just be themselves and do whatever they want or what have you. As far as LGBT, the LGBTQIA plus community goes, it is interesting. For sure there is a lot to be learned. Like, for example, there is a lot that I've learned from there's a lot that I've learned on Twitch about being LGBT from different streams, and so I feel like yes, it is definitely a place that can increase awareness and understanding. That said, it's also sometimes super difficult because of trolls and such.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that could definitely reduce how safe it is and how many people would want to actively, share and be themselves and such. But I will say, yeah, for sure, it is definitely a really good place that would definitely increase awareness about the issues, especially if you're open to answering questions anytime.
Yeah, and I agree with basically everything that you said as well. I'm actually going to go ahead and change my tags on my stream as well, just because I realized I don't have AMA on. Change it off to jazz music. Rip jazz music, by the way. You got troll bombs last night? What do you mean by troll bombs on Dead Blackbird? I'm sorry to hear that, by the way.
I'm sorry,
Yeah. By the way, y'all, I need to implement this rule. As far as specific naming of trolls and people who are transphobic, I do not want that to happen. I will be, deleting message of anyone that talks about this as well. I need to implement that as a rule, but just following in Horizon Dead's footsteps here in terms of that. But okay, so yeah, I agree with basically everything that you said, Shojo. The part of it, are you pew-pewing?
I don't know.
Shojo, why are you so cute? That's my question to you.
Why are you lying?
Chat, I have to ask you a question. Do I ever lie to my guests when I compliment them? The live is in Spanish, no? I don't know what that is. Just an endless way of transphobes? Oh, that sucks. I hate that, Blackbird. It's Blackbird, I'm so sorry I wasn't there last night to be able to help you out about that. Next time that happens, ping me, and I'll show up in chat, and I can help clear that out. But okay, so to also add on to this question, I actually specifically created Queer Talk Fridays with the idea of being able to educate people about queer stuff in mind. It's the reason, I mean, the first time I talked about it, I've actually focused more on, like, health stuff. And this is the first Queer Talk Friday we actually talked about queer study, queer and trans stuff, specifically. Although, we did touch on it in Megan, because she is bi. But I specifically created this because I want there to be a place on Twitch for people to be able to come and ask these questions, and with frequency, and know that these questions, they're not going to get in trouble for asking these questions, they're allowed to ask these things, and that they're not going to be judged for that. And that's what I want to provide, because I don't see a lot of other spaces on Twitch for that. And on top of that, I felt that the Kaizo community and Mario Maker community as a whole was a wonderful place to be able to start this sort of conversation and start this as well, because of how accepting the community already is for queer people as well. Let me get that. I feel like trolls arrived on the internet long before any community started to form. Regardless of where you broadcast, there's always someone there in the garbage. Ready to start garbage ship. I think are both trolls and supportive people, just as there is on any platform. Twitch is a bit better than most platforms about being supportive streamers and helping them deal with trolls. Yeah. Marcy never lies to guests. Shojo. It's okay. Lex Luthor Vandross was there, so I gave him a mod sword and he was on it. Awesome. Good to hear. Emily, you cute. That is true. But yeah, so I think there needs to be more spaces like this to be able to talk about it. And I want my stream to be that sort of space as well, like, because I know other trans people may not be as comfortable answering these sort of questions, and I specifically have decided to be candid about my past and my, the fact that I was a boy before I came out as a girl, or gender fluid technically now, and that I had a life that I lived like that before I got to this point. I want to be able to answer these questions and be open and honest about the fact that even before I transitioned, I was transmissic. I was ignorant, and I was not understanding of how the community worked, and I had very ignorant ideas, and me transitioning is what made me learn about that, but not just because I suddenly was just like, okay, this all makes sense to me now that I'm trans. It was now I'm being exposed to these ideas and talking with other people about this, and now I'm able to learn. And not everybody is going to have that opportunity, and so that's the point of this stream, and this is why I also like to have other people on to be able to talk about this as well, because they can offer a perspective that I don't know about as well. And so, by the way, this is a good time to grab this too, since this is a thing. We actually have a form now. There is a Google form. I'm going to grab the link to this right now. If anybody is ever interested in actually coming on and guest speaking on the show, I'm going to be having them fill out this form. Can someone confirm to me that this works, by the way? Because this is the first time I'm having it in there. I'm actually going to add it in as UTF. Join UTF. I'm going to go ahead and just add that in here just real quick as that.
How are you?
So we have that. Hey, Kiri, how are you doing today, my friend? Yes, we are with Emily. But yeah, can someone confirm that form that is actually working? We're going to go ahead and add that as well. I'm going to go change the title to also have this. Yep, looks like it. Okay. Let me see if I can open this up in a incognito thing as well. Okay, yeah, that looks like it's working. You have to be signed in for it. But yeah, if anybody ever wants to, if you're interested in potentially, guest speaking on one of these things, feel free to fill out that form and I will get in contact with you as well. Yeah, you might need to fill that out. That's A-okay. We very much are, I have had 2 people that I've talked to you about as well that are interested. I don't want to necessarily say names since nothing's confirmed yet with these 2 people, but I have 2 other people that, want to come and talk about stuff. I definitely want my stream to be a space where people can be safe from the garbage or toxic people. Thing is, it feels like it requires a lot of mental fortitude in fending off the toxic people. Someone who's a bit of a doormat, I feel like I absolutely struggle to call out people. Yeah. And that's exactly why we need a community built around this, is because just because you might be uncomfortable to defending yourself on stream, but not on other people's streams, which is why some of my mods do what they do, because it's like I may be uncomfortable calling someone out in my own stream, for what they're doing, but my mods have no such disregard, and I have no issues calling other people out in other streams. So, but it works, but you need to have a Google account. Exactly. Well, I specifically made it so you have to have an account to prevent just trolls from doing this. So yeah, that is a thing, and going forward, that will continue to be a thing. But going back to the question at hand, there will be trolls, and that's just kind of the unfortunate reality of this. There will be bigoted, hated people with hatred in their heart, and they will attempt to, crash things and ruin things, but we shouldn't let these people prevent us from doing this, because ultimately this is good, and having these spaces, I think, is not only just important for us to exist in these spaces, but it's important for people not in our community to be able to learn about it. So okay, I think unless anybody else has any other questions on this topic, I think that more or less answers it, and we can go back to interviewing Emily here then. So feel free to ask anything else as well, but I'm gonna collect my thoughts real quick about what I want to talk with Emily about next.
I literally was like, I don't think anything is off topic in terms of whatever people want to ask me. I'm pretty open about literally anything.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair. And this, we are accepting questions directly to Emily as well. That is a thing, either through the overlay or in the chat as well. But I'm trying to see what else I can ask about it and prepare as many questions this time to ask. But let me think for a second here. Oh, actually, this is sort of a personal one. This isn't necessarily like an experience thing, but I'm curious, Emily. Are you interested in doing any sort of gender reaffirmation surgery in the future? If you are interested in that, like, how long have you been interested in that? I'm curious.
I am. And I have been interested in that for, multiple years. Like, ever since I sort of, was able to get on estrogen, I was just like, I kind of want to do the whole thing, so I'm gonna try to go for that. I should be getting in touch with some kind of surgeon, doctor, person that is important this summer.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So it's moving along. It's just this process has been a lot slower than literally anything else. So but it is what it is.
That makes sense. I mean, I don't know if I actually talked to you about this, Emily. I've touched on this in stream a couple times, but I saw a urologist the other day for an unrelated issue, and we talked about that I was trans, and she was just like, "Have you been considering yet an orchiectomy or getting vaginoplasty and such?" And I was not prepared to talk about that, but I was just like, you know what? I think yes. I think I want to go all the way. Have vaginoplasty and all of that, and so I'll actually be going to see her in about a month or so to start talking about that process. Like, it's still very far out. Like, this is not a thing that's going to be happening anytime soon, but
regardless, it's still really awesome. Like, good for you.
It's awesome and terrifying at the same time, especially since for myself I'm gender fluid, and I'm not as clear cut. Like, for you, how easy is it for you to know, like, okay, I want to get gender reaffirmation surgery, I want to just go all the way, as they say?
It was relatively simple.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of dysphoria, so it's just like, you know what, I feel like this is probably the best idea here.
Yeah. Reading material and heavy conversation are a tougher entry point to the issues for some people, is important there. Yeah, and that's exactly to go back to just touch on the question previously as well. The more casual setting, that of which Twitch offers to us, and the fact that you can just come and go as you want from this conversation, and you can choose to participate or not choose to participate. The ease of access here is really what I'm trying to push, as well as this is why I'm starting to upload these onto YouTube. It's just so people can watch and experience this, even if they're not able to make it to the streams. But anyways, going back to just GRS, as I'll refer to from now on, because gender reaffirmation surgery is a mouthful. It was not as easy for me to make this decision. In fact, this is something that I struggled with since coming out. You have a YouTube? Yes, I do. Which I should probably go grab that link real quick. Hold on a second. Probably
Blue,
should.
By the way.
What?
Blue, I wanted to address. Blue. No, seriously, though, that makes a lot of sense to a lot of people that are considering it, like you, myself included. It's just like, ooh, that's a lot of options. And,
it is.
That's a lot of scary aftercare, and the entire thing is terrifying.
What is the theme? What do you mean? What is the theme, Kiri?
Only
Oh, that
stream a
picture's
couple
super
times,
cute, by the
never
way,
talk
Kiri.
about it.
What'd you say, Shoujo?
Oh, Undead asked a question.
Okay, feel free to answer that. I'm gonna write something. I'm adding something
Caught
real
your stream a
quick.
couple times, never heard you talk about it, but assuming that you have supportive parents, I'm just curious. It's helped make it easy next streams. So, I, like, you know, despite at the beginning, my mom not being, like, at all, supportive, like, I just want to say at this point, she is the most fantastic supporter I could ever have. Like, she would, like, do literally anything to make sure that I could be who I am and be comfortable in my own body and stuff like that. Like, she's absolutely incredible in that regard. So I'm extremely lucky. It hasn't really made things more difficult. It has made things pretty smooth in terms of being able to transition. She's always been open and receptive to pretty much anything that I've been wanting to go for, including, like, even GRS. Stuff like that. It's just been a lot easier and a lot better to have the opportunity to have somebody as, you know, supportive as she is. I'm extremely lucky to have supportive parents, because I know that some people don't. It's just like,
Yeah. Like,
I'm just really lucky.
My parents, unfortunately, my parents and family, unfortunately, are supportive, but not really all the way there. And not just for trans stuff as well, like disability stuff. I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was just like, you need to just stop trying to get help for this. You just need to accept that you're at these things and just ignore it. And I was just like,
it's
yikes.
sickening.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, like, everyone in my chat loves my mom, though. Like,
have I seen your mom before?
No, she doesn't make that many appearances, but, like, just based off the conversation that I've had with her on streams, like, everyone loves my mom, and I'm just like, that is great. I'm glad that people like my mom.
I'm glad to hear that. Also, I just realized I'm at the end of this. I'm gonna give this level a few more attempts. That's a wait. Hold on, I'm catching up with chat. I don't know what I want with medical physical transition as a non-binary person. What I really want is to chat with someone who has worked with a lot of non-binary people, explain the options clearly. Yeah, no feet. I don't know how much. Generally, when we're talking about gender reassignment surgery, unfortunately, it's always from a binary point of view. I don't know how common it is for non-binary people and experiences with that. And that's something that, you know, that is important to me too, because the fact that I am not a binary trans person, that I'm non-binary, I've really struggled with, do I want to, you know, do I want to have a vagina? Do I want to, you know, just keep the penis that I have? And it's just like, it's really confusing and scary. So when I told my mother, she frowned and said, well, just never tell your dad. Told your mother what, Scotty? Yes, love and chat to all of y'all. But oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, that you're queer. I'm guessing, because I actually, Scotty, I am unaware of this, by the way, because I'm curious what you're talking about, since this is not something that I have been privy to. If you are comfortable just responding to that. Do you know what Emily's Twitch name means? I do not know what ToransuShojo means. I had no idea it was a thing. That there was a meaning to it. My parents forced my hand to cut them off pretty quickly, but I was 30 when I came out and living across the country, so it's basically just, well, I'm gonna keep doing my thing and just not talk to them. Yeah. I'm glad that you were able to, I'm glad you were at least able to cut them out of your life, but I'm really sorry that your parents were not supportive. Not having supportive family members is...
Thank you, Undead, though. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I'm glad that you were able to keep going, though. That's, like, it's really a strong thing, no matter what. It's hard to cut off family. I mean, I guess when they're unsupportive, it's not... It's still a difficult thing, but...
Yeah.
You know, I'm just glad you're able to be you. You know, that is the most important thing.
As someone who has had to cut off their mother, but not for trans stuff, just for other stuff, it's difficult. Feel free. Gary, tell me. Jojo, can you let them tell me?
Yeah, go. Yeah, it's fine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've had my own issues with family, and so, what am I?
Well,
okay.
Lucky tells you I'm gonna go and put my laundry in the
okay.
bin.
This is a good opportunity then to just take another break as well, because I do need to use the restroom. So oh wait, hold on, I took off my headphones. Were you saying something, Emily? Alright, I think she stepped away for a bit. So I'm gonna mute the Discord. We are gonna take a quick break I'm gonna use the restroom, she's gonna do her laundry, and then we are going to be right back, y'all. So be back in just a few minutes. BRB. Alright, y'all, we are back. Then we have Trans Girl with us.
You hear nothing. You hear nothing. I'm just getting marshmallows.
I hear a lot. Or Little Trans Girl. Interesting. That's cute. You should shorten it to just Burb or something. I'd rather not have a real name floating around. Well, I mean, not like a real name Blackbird. I just meant like, you prefer like... Burb works, so I'll use Burb. You're surprised I understood her name meaning? Look,
yeah, I was.
Yeah, I'm sure Emily's that way. So... Or she's just like, oh, I thought I'm being so clever, and then someone comes in and she's like, ToransuShojo, or whatever. I don't know if that was insensitive. I really hope that wasn't insensitive. Why was that, Shoj?
It was, so a lot of people literally just...
Hey, Chibi. What? Emily.
People have tried, like, all of these kinds of forms of Google Translate to figure out my name. There is one specific translation that is absolutely incorrect, no matter what way you look at it.
And what is that translation?
But people have been trying.
What was that translation then?
No.
No?
I hate the translation, so I don't want to bring it up.
Never mind. Also, that was actually pretty close to the correct pronunciation. Oh, I was actually pretty close to it. What did I say? ToransuShojo? Is that what I said? Is that
Yeah, ToransuShojo.
ToransuShojo? Okay. Is that close? Am I doing it right? Okay.
That's fair.
I'm fluent in Japanese if it helps. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it does.
I really want to learn Japanese at some point, not because I'm a weeb, but I just want to learn a lot of languages.
Okay, this is so random. I hate that people call other people weebs. It's just, to me, it just like makes no sense. It's just like, hey, I happen to like Japanese culture. Oh, I'm a weeb now. Okay.
Yeah, that you know what? That's fair. I actually agree with that because I agree. Like, I like Japanese music. I like Japanese media as well. I also enjoy a lot of reading and hearing about and learning about the history of it as well, considering, you know, an island nation that lasted as long as it did and went through as many dynasties as it did, and just the politics there are very interesting. So shoujo sounds a bit like dojo. That makes sense. But okay, what were we talking about last? Do you remember before we went on break?
No.
You don't remember? Okay.
I'm useless.
It's fine. It's okay. You're useless. But so let me try to think what to ask next. Which, by the way, y'all, if you have any, you know, big important questions, coming out to parents. What about coming out to parents, Scotty? And Scotty, by the way, I don't know if I saw your answer, but I'm scrolling back up. What is? May I ask what your orientation? That was the last subject. Oh, okay. So coming out to parents and such. That's right. Thank you for reminding us. We say transgender girl. Okay, that makes sense, Kiri. I pick on Katuki for about being a weeb sometimes. Basically, she always corrects me. She's technically otaku since she's part Japanese herself. That's fair.
Well, there you go.
That's fair. I'm gonna write something down real quick.
We answered Blackbird's question about how parents were.
Yes, okay, so and then we talked about GRS, and okay, so you're full-time now out. Do you like, okay, outside of school, whenever you go out in public, do you face any issues as well with your gender identity and such, or do people, you know, gender you correctly, generally?
People generally gender me correctly.
Okay.
I haven't had any issues with that. I seem to pass, I guess. I don't know. I think, like, honestly, it's hard for me to tell myself because Marcy has said this multiple times. It's like when you look in the mirror, dysphoria stares back. So I genuinely can't tell. But it seems to be working out. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know where I don't know if I heard that quote from somewhere or if I just came up with it. I don't want to necessarily come off like, oh, look at me, I said something so wise, because I don't like to come off as that.
No, but, it ever since you first said that, it has not left me.
I'm really glad to hear that, and I hope it's helped, because it's something that I've kept in mind as well. So, for the record, y'all, just to repeat the quote for those unfamiliar with it, which I'm gonna go ahead and say I found it somewhere, probably on Reddit, because I don't want to attribute it to myself. Just, when you look, as a trans person, when you look into a mirror, you see you and your dysphoria stare back, but when someone looks at you, they can only see you. They can't see the dysphoria, because the dysphoria is all in your head. And so as someone who also struggles with their own appearance and oftentimes feels like I don't understand why people see me as a girl. I've had more than one person since starting Twitch be like, I thought you were either, you know, a cis female or you were female to male or something like that. So yeah, you
remember what I said yesterday?
Yeah, I remember what you said, but you want to say it?
I had no idea that Marcy was I don't want to offend or say the wrong thing.
Just say it. Say it. I don't care.
I had no idea that Marcy was assigned male at birth. I was just like, oh. Yep. That's not what I thought. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that. By the way, before we're swinging with this, I want to get to Scotty. You're bisexual, male, gender confused. Okay, that makes sense, Scotty. And by the way, Scotty, like, you probably have plenty of people to talk about, but as someone who was there before they came out as trans, I thought I was a bisexual guy and I was gender confused. If you want to talk about that at all, my DMs are always 100% open to you because I have had that experience before. Not insinuating that you're trans, of course, but yeah. I wasn't sure if you're trans or cis until I started putting your screen name together. Yeah, that was the same. Like when Emily, and I told you this as well. I had to ask more than one person if you were trans when I first started watching you because I was just like, I feel like someone has said it, but I can't actually tell because I swear she's just, cis. So, yeah. And by the way, that describes my childhood, but I appreciate the support. Okay, that's fine. It's all good, Scotty. But yeah, for the record, it can be problematic to be like, ask someone if they're AMAB or AFAB. In 99%, no, it's fine. Let me finish what I'm about to say because it's okay. Not to call you out. So AMAB, AFAB. So for the record, 99% of the time it's not okay, but in this stream specifically on Queer Talk Fridays, if it's under the guise of asking questions about this and wanting to know about my experience, you are allowed to ask me. It's 100%, that is okay. So
not gonna lie, I still feel bad because that was just such an awkward thing. I just got very confused. Okay, all right.
Yeah. You just got very confused? How so?
Yeah.
Validate me, Shojo.
I was trying to piece it together, and I'm just like, wait, that doesn't make sense to me, because I thought you were this, but you, oh, well, alrighty. And then I just got confused, and words didn't do things properly. I feel, I don't know.
I did not know that either Marcy or Emily were trans until I've been watching them for a while. That's totally fair. Yeah, and and I'll say hello to the follower there as well. I'm guessing Winter Drake was the follow. Thank you very much, Winter Drake, for that follow. I appreciate it.
Quick fact of the day: I've been spending the past 5 minutes dissecting marshmallows, so I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna respond to chat in a bit as well. Yeah, feel free to add levels to the queue. Hey Scoots, by the way, low for you, girl. How are you doing today, my friend? I always like seeing you because you're one of my favorite streamers, and I haven't been able to catch a stream in a while, and I feel bad because my internet sucks. Yeah, transgender pride. My little sister's the one that made me realize because maybe it could have been a mistake. At first, she wanted to be like I am. Interesting, Curie. What do you mean by that? Low for you, I'm okay. I'm glad to hear you're okay. Unfortunately, people I know about me immediately because my voice is still very baritone. Yeah, and I think the voice is generally what people. It's okay, you're the best. That's fair. I know I'm the best. You're the best too. My voice. So I have a weird relationship with my voice because I haven't spent a lot of time like practicing, doing voice practice and stuff like that. Like I have done stuff in the past, and I'm a bit familiar with like the techniques and such. You put an exclamation point add, and then you add the level code past that. That's it, Chibi. But I haven't spent a lot of time on my voice, but I have done stuff in the past as well. But I don't feel like part of it is also just there is a phenomenon with trans women where your voice will just naturally start to get higher after you come out as trans, just because you're more comfortable with it, and it's also kind of subconscious. But there was literally a point where I was not practicing it, or I practiced it a couple months ago, and maybe that was kind of what pushed it over, because I went from my voice being the thing that clocks me most of the time to all of a sudden, like I had an incident in Seattle the other week where I went to Starbucks to use the restroom. And they were just like, oh, I asked the bartender or the barista, and they were like, yeah, oh, the men's restroom code is blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not passing today. And then I went to go to the men's restroom, and I went to open the door, it was locked. And I was like, oh, sorry about that. And the person in the restroom was just like, this is the men's restroom, you know that, right? And I was just like, oh, my voice is passing, but I'm not, what? That was really strange to me. So, yeah, I don't really know. I feel like I have a fairly deep voice, but I've talked with cis women or trans mask people who are, non-binary but not doing hormones, and they were just like, I feel like my voice is deeper than yours, and I have a really hard time knowing how deep my voice is as well. Also, that's a super cute picture, Kiri. Oof, but also not oof. Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't mind getting misgendered now. I'm at a point where I'm very comfortable, and I've been out for so long that I don't really worry about it. But that's a good question, Sadie. Let me get back to that in a second. I want to make sure I haven't missed anyone.
Sadie asked that ages ago.
Oh, did she? I didn't see it earlier. Oh, no, Sadie, I just scrolled back up, and I just saw that as well. So I don't want to, if I miss something that y'all say, it's not intentional, please don't take it intentionally. I do my best to keep up with everything, but it's difficult. So in a way, I agree I was too young. I'm glad I was not mistakable. Okay, I'm glad you didn't make a mistake, Kiri, as well. There's a question. I'll get to that question in a bit. Scoots showed up. Yeah, baritone voice. Doggy pit. All right, so I have a big question. I hope it's been asked before, or I hope it's not ignorant, etc. But it's a real question. By the way, even if a question's been asked before, that's fine because the people here might not be here for that. So in my case, I am confused when dating. No, it's okay. Are you dating boys, women, or both? I mean, does your orientation have an influence? And what do you mean by your orientation? Do you mean my gender orientation? Because that is a good question. And honestly, Shoujo, I mean, if you'd like to also give a say on this as well, I think that could be an interesting question to ask. I might tailor it differently for you, but would you be comfortable talking about that side of your life?
I'll do my best to answer it.
Sure thing. I think you haven't dated anyone, right?
So the thing about me is I have no idea where I'm in terms of sexual orientation.
That's fair.
It's just like, you know what, I could be ace, but I could also not be.
That's me.
And now I'm just very confused with myself. That's fine. Yeah, I can't really answer the question.
That's okay, which is why I said I'd want to tailor it differently. But I'm gonna go ahead, Sadie, unless you tell me otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and assume when you say, does your orientation have influence, you mean my gender orientation. Which, please correct me if that's wrong. But, so here's the thing. I have always been interested in girls since I was very young. When I was very young, when I was a boy, oh my gosh, back in the yonder days, I was exclusively heterosexual. So I thought I was just attracted by girls whenever they had whatever they have between their legs. Not too sure what you mean by that, Kiri. So I was interested in women, but I remember as early as middle school, like how people described their attraction to other people and how they would fantasize about their crushes and such. That was not how I did it. Like generally, when I had a crush on someone, what I imagined I would do with them would just be like kiss and cuddle. That was the extent of it. I never really had sexual fantasies about people, which is where that's where I ended up coming out as ace. And like I know now still, I am on the ace spectrum, even though like I do enjoy sex now, and it's still something that I want, and I still have a drive. I'm the kind of asexual where it's not something that's really it's not really something I consciously think about a lot, unless I'm in that sort of instance. I have a very reactive libido in that regards, and on top of that, I don't actually get much pleasure out of physical sexual stuff. Like I do enjoy sensual stuff. Which, for the record, y'all, there is a difference between sensual stuff and sexual stuff, sensual attraction, sexual attraction, which to quickly just sum up that, but that would be a good thing to also talk about. Sensual stuff has to do with the senses of the body and interacting with those. Sexual stuff is more of a pleasure-based erogenous zone type thing, if I'm remembering this correctly. So growing up, 100% cishet. That's what I thought I was. I at times wondered, like, I remember from a young age being like, I wish I was bi, because it seems like that would be awesome, because then I could just be attracted to everyone. I'd have more options. Like, as early as middle school, I was having that thought. And then also I think middle school, I think the earliest that I had any sort of trans sort of ideas was when I was like 16 or 17. I think I like was interested in trying out they them pronouns at one point just to see how it was, but I didn't like it. And I ended up going off of it. But actually, fun fact, even though October 28th, 2016, I tried to come out, that was actually not the first time I tried to come out. A year prior to that, I realized I was trans. I was actually actively questioning. Like, I was almost there. But I made a mistake in that. So I came out to my therapist, like, I've been questioning this. And she had me I asked to see the LGBT counselor on the campus for the college that I was going to. And the LGBT counselor, talked to them about this, and their response to my questioning and all that was, if you have not been questioning this since you were, like, very young, you're not trans, so don't worry about it, you're not trans. That pushed me back into the closet, and it was a very ignorant thing to say as well, and that pushed off my getting on hormones and such by about a year, which is very unfortunate. But, yeah, that was an oof. My orientation, I'm gonna respond to a couple comments. My orientation didn't change immediately. I was into girls before and still into girls now, but still very slowly started my transition. I've shifted towards pansexual, which I'll address it myself. I've seen a gorgeous, very feminine, androgynous boy. He's a boy. He refers to a boy. He looks like a girl. Let me find a picture of him. Feel free. Attraction is an entirely complicated thing of itself. Yep, because there are multiple different forms of attraction. Yeah, it's okay. It's in the past. I don't want to live like hating someone. I don't hold a grudge against this person as well, because I don't think their ignorance came. I don't think that came from a place of malice. I think it came from a place of ignorance, and I can't hate people for being ignorant, because it's not a choice. It's only a choice. It becomes malice when you choose to be ignorant, in my opinion. But yes, that pushed me back into the closet. But what actually happened, and I'm going to get very explicit here for the record in terms of this. Shoujo, you're still here, right? Wait, is Emily still here? Oh, she just went away for a second. Okay, so Emily has stepped away for a second. That's okay. So
No, I'm back.
okay, so I'm about to get very explicit in what I'm talking about. So when I went to university, because I went to a college and then a university. I got my 2-year. All right, so I'm gonna allow that.
Oh, I was gonna be a mod for once.
Fine, do it next time. But I'll respond to comments in a bit. So university, I remember when I went to university, I started questioning more, and at the very least, I was reading a lot of Reddit transgender stuff, and what kind of led me down the rabbit hole of both realizing I was trans and realizing I wasn't just, straight attracted, was, I don't think there's any good way to put this, and I'm going to be using language that can be deemed problematic, but unfortunately, it's the best way to recount what I experienced in a way that's accurate to that. Also, that person, oh my gosh, they are so cute. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's really freaking cute. So my experience, I'll just get out with it. How I started questioning that I was bi, or pan, as I think is more accurate, and not trans, was I started consuming a lot of what is called futanari porn, which is porn that depicts people with both, breasts and generally penises. And then that transition that moved into eventually just me consuming what is called trap porn, which is a very problematic title in of itself. But there was a period of several weeks where I was consuming exclusively that, and a voracious amount of that, because pre-hormones as well, my libido was very overactive, hyperactive, because of testosterone in my body. Recently started to crossplay. That's awesome. So hermaphrodite is another term for that, but generally, curious for the record, hermaphrodite is actually considered a fairly inappropriate, offensive word. So I would abstain from using that in chat, and I'm not going to use it to refer to this as well. I'm going to use futanari instead, because that's generally considered more appropriate, but even that is problematic. But so 6 weeks go by of me consuming this. And after that, I was just like, wait a second. I'm really enjoying porn that involves penises in it. Maybe I have been true all this time, wondering if I could be bi, if I could make myself bi. Maybe I just have been this whole time, and I just didn't understand what these feelings were, and that it was a attraction to males as well. And so there was a brief period, like mid-October of 2016, where I was just like, maybe I'm actually not interested in women. Maybe I'm just a gay male, because of how I've been attracted to this and how it was so different to me than to women. And then eventually, though, that kind of moved forward, and I was questioning more with the trans stuff, and I was just like, oh, I think the other side of this, why I'm so interested in this type of pornography, is because I can actually see myself in this, and the reason I enjoy it so much is it's relatable to me in ways that cis-het porn had not been relatable to me. And so that kind of led into that. And so I realized I was bi, or pan, really. But even then, I have still struggled with knowing whether or not I'm actually attracted to masculine people. Isn't the term intersex? No, intersex is a different thing, Chibi. We can talk about that later. But I struggled with my sexuality. I still struggle with my sexuality to a great regard. Like, before and after transition, 100%, I know I'm interested in women. I know I'm interested in femme people. But past that, I know I can have an attraction to men, cis and trans guys. I know I can have an attraction to them. I've never done anything with anyone like that. There's kind of one exception, but I don't really want to talk about that on stream. I have never really done much with anyone in that category. Basically, I've only ever had any sort of sensual relations, or any sort of relationship, romantic, or, that sort of thing, with either cis women or non-binary women. And all of them exclusively assigned female at birth as well. This is something I've actually touched on this before, and I don't want to go too far into this, but I actually struggle with being attracted to anyone who is assigned male at birth, and this is something that's brought me a lot of shame, because it's just like, it's not that I see, like, specifically trans women, it's not like I see trans women as being, you know, not women, because that's 100% not true, but for whatever reason, I really struggle with this. And of course, there have been trans women that I've been interested in, attracted to. I've never interacted with them in a sensual, sexual manner in person, but this is something that has gone through my mind a lot. So to answer your question, Sadie, I'm gonna scroll back up and make sure that I have this. I'm actually gonna write this down as well, real quick. Throw this into the doc so I remember this. So first off, let's go ahead and give me a second. I'm writing this down so I don't forget about this, because I also want to make sure I don't lose this. So this is by Sadie 845, I think, and this was asked on 531. So let me get this. There we go. So to answer your question, before hormones, I was straight. After hormones, I realized a lot more about myself, and I thought a lot more into this. And as a result, I recognized that I'm ace and also technically pan, but very rarely does my being pan actually pan out into anything. So, okay, so I'm gonna move on from that. Let me respond to a few things. There's very few people who are mature enough to understand those things. A very simple example, I have lots of talks. I don't know what TSC is. Like crossing my legs when I sit or hugging people. I'm various reasons. People keep saying I'm gay. I mean, of course, I have nothing against homosexuals, but I'm tired of those cliches. But just because I'm a boy, I can't cross my legs. That's ridiculous. Exactly. And unfortunately, those stereotypes do exist. Yeah, and gender stereotypes, honestly, a huge pet peeve of mine. I agree with you, Bullet Bill. I agree with that. Futanari means dual form. In Japanese, it's not yet seen as pejorative. The only problem is that Japanese intersex people do not like to feel like they are a hentai kink thing. Yeah, and Futanari, I mean, it's similar. It means the same thing in English, but there is different stigma attached to it, especially since hermaphrodite is considered a very outdated and inappropriate term. Kind of branching off the topic and going back to the earlier GRS topic, I'm very on the fence. I'll get back to this one, actually. Anyone pushing the non-masculine guy, haha, you're gay narrative is going to lose a lot of points for me. Exactly. Your gender expression is not equal to your sexual identity or your gender identity at all. On that note, I wish people understood that toxic masculinity refers to a subset of masculinity that is garbage, rather than calling all masculinity toxic. That is 100% true as well. Not all masculinity is toxic. Masculinity itself is not inherently toxic. It's cis heteronormative masculinity that I would generally say is more innately toxic, but that's a talk for another day. Pan out puns. In elementary school, when I was already in early phase of transition, school refused to let me wear the female school uniform. I so wanted to wear the skirt. So in high school, I was in a more liberate school. I could wear skirts. I'm glad to hear that, Kiri. But yeah, so that's my response to that. And I'm curious to hear about Emily. You're still here, right?
Of course, never left.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Intersex includes everything in the intersex umbrella. Yeah, Futanari, for the record, is not really intersex. It's a separate thing. So we can talk about intersex later. I honestly, if I would like to have a day where we talk about intersex conditions and what it's like. But if I'm going to have that talk, I want a guest speaker on who is intersex themselves. So that's definitely something for the future. But Shojo, you know, I am curious to hear your take on this question then. Now, all intersex have both genitals outside. Exactly. So let's move off of intersex, just because that can become problematic, and I do not feel comfortable enough in my understanding of it to be able to give a good answer. So to move on, Shojo, let me rephrase this question for you.
Okay.
As you've never dated anyone before, right?
Correct.
So, oh hey, what's up? I just saw someone on. Yeah, I'm on. You're good. I didn't realize my brother was here. So okay, Shojo, Emily. Trying to think of how to phrase this. How would you say your sexual orientation, romantic orientation, sensual orientation how has that in relation to your transition, in relation to the various stages of your life that you've had these marks, nine, you know, realizing, 12 coming out, 13 puberty blockers, 14, 15 hormones. How is that been for you in terms of questioning, in terms of you know, realizing these things? How has that process been for you, and how have you gone about this process as well?
That
Which, take your time, by the way.
just the entire process of transitioning.
I mean, in terms
What
of
is?
wait, okay, feel free.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say? Just so it might help me understand.
Because I'm talking about the sexual romantic orientation here.
It's really hard for me to answer any questions about sexual romantic orientation because I still don't even know where I'm at with that.
Interesting.
Nothing has particularly changed between before and after. In fact, I would go as far as to say, you know, when I was like 12, I didn't necessarily feel any attraction anyway, so it didn't matter super lot to me. And it still hasn't particularly changed. I still don't get relationships or how that works and whatever.
Gotcha. Would you say then you're ace and aromantic though, or are you just questioning you don't know yet?
I wouldn't say aromantic, but ace is one of the things that I'm questioning. I'm still questioning it. I mean, I guess the idea of having a partner and just, you know, being able to, like, just hang out and cuddle and stuff is appealing, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't see it happening either, so it's very weird to think about anything regarding...
Why do you say you don't see it happen?
I don't...
Is my mic cutting out? Oh.
Slightly. It doesn't matter too much.
Alright, I'll fix this, but yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Probably just because it's hard to put myself in that scenario for multiple reasons.
I'm curious what the are then.
But I mean, I think the base reason is just, for me, that just doesn't feel right, or it doesn't feel like a natural thing. Sort of deal. I'm not sure.
Interesting. So it doesn't come to you. This is not something that you naturally think you experience. Yeah. Interesting. Have you felt this way all your life then?
I would say so.
Interesting. Okay. Huh. Okay. That's and I mean that's a perfectly valid answer as well to my question. Blue, I'll read your comment in a second, Blue, as well. But it's tough. It's really tough to, you know, think about these things. And on top of that, being trans can also, you know, kind of put a kink in that as well. Can kind of make you question that as well. Because I would honestly say that part of my being asexual has to do with the fact that I have the genitals out of which I have. There is definitely a component of my asexuality that is, you know, dysphoric related, and I think if I was to get GRS, that could, in effect, help some of these thoughts. So, I don't know if you missed my earlier comment on sensuality or not. I'm looking back. I'm looking back to see. Okay, Bullet Bill, I'll read this in a second, but and on top of that, there's also just the fact that sensual attraction is poorly understood, I would say, by most people, and that most people don't recognize that there is a difference between this, and that, I mean, queer platonic and romantic feelings are also, you know, separate and are a thing and aren't like, it's not that queer platonic is in between friendship and romantic, it's a separate circle, queer platonic, friendship, and romantic, like it's like that instead. And just because there's a lack of resources and a lack of many avenues available right now that I know of to be able to engage with other people who are who have this, who are this, and to learn more about this, that I think can make a lot of things confusing. I'm gonna read this comment real quick. As someone who self-identifies as more sensual and sexual, thank you for making that distinction. I feel like I'm not nearly as sexual as many guys, and growing up that has been a point of awkwardness in trying to relate to other cishet males who seem to have a much stronger sexual culture. Exactly. Also, Shoujo, do your job.
What?
Shoujo.
Oh, yeah, right.
There you go. There you go. Look at that. I think it's Shoujo Smash, right? There we go. Cool. Thank you for doing your job.
The second that I tabbed out, of course the bot shows up.
That's fine. Okay, so but yeah, so there's a difference, because I would say I'm very much more sensual than sexual. And once I realized that there was a distinction between that, it made a lot of sense for me, because it's just like the actual, PIV, actual genital interaction for sex is something that's very confusing and discomforting and uncomfortable for me to think and talk about. But the side of it of, like, kissing someone, cuddling someone, feeling someone up, that sort of thing, that's all very interesting to me, and I like that. And I don't think enough people separate out the fact that, that there is a difference between sensuality and sexuality. But, okay, I'm gonna read Blueberries now. The reason I said I was pretty lucky is the fact that I just have an innately very effeminate frame and look. I don't feel like I have to worry about my appearance as much as other trans or NB people might have to, just a genetic luck that I'm fortunate with. My voice is another story, though. Yeah, and unfortunately, voice can be worked on. It's just a lot of work. Might it also be related to the culture you're going in? I mean, Japan is very sexualized, so much than sexuality in Japan is. So, I grew up with a computer in my bedroom. Yeah, so there is also cultural parts to this as well. The fact that different cultures have different things that are considered appropriate, for cishet people to do. Like, I know there are cultures, I believe, in Africa where it's common for male friends to hold hands together while they walk together, which would generally not be seen as appropriate here. So, I feel like the Western American culture is somewhat sex-driven, especially for cishet guys. Exactly. There's this, you'll see this, in media and also just in all my comments being mob luck. Yeah, that's just the way it is. I'll dance a bit. So you'll see this in just the way that we interact with our children in the media, in that there is this idea, for instance, that boys, in middle school and high school who get with a lot of girls are considered studs, and women who get with a lot of guys are considered sluts, and that sort of thing, where there is an unfair balance of men getting this are considered good, or, they're succeeding, but women doing this are considered sluts, and they're considered bad and immoral, and it's really weird like that. So, I don't know if you want to comment on this as well, Emily.
Yeah, no, that's a lot more accurate than I wish it was. It's a really dumb standard, double standard rather. I don't know, that's really all I can say on that specific topic. Like, I don't like it.
That is fair. I'm actually going to move on from this level just because I've been on this level for a very long time as well, and I do want to play other people's levels. I'm probably not going to beat too many levels today. Alright, Scotty Fox's Lucky Shot. Fun. Let's do this. We'll play this for a bit since Sadie's no longer here as well. I know too many people who call babies with penises that show more of an affinity for female adults, lady men. Ladies men?
I think I get it.
I don't think I quite understand what you mean by that. No feet. Also, by the way, gender reveal parties are
dumb.
I don't like them.
Inherently toxic is an understatement.
I would like to point out the fact that we as a society, encourage and actually actively have ceremonies in which we reveal the genitalia of this not even born human yet. From a young age, we place so much emphasis on the genitals out of which someone is born with, and it's fairly gross. I do not like it. I think it's very gross and inappropriate, and it just not good. Not okay. Okay, I'm gonna load this up. 5. Like, there will be a baby boy who seems to gravitate more towards female adults, and these people laugh and say, oh, he's such a ladies' man. Yikes. I think no feed is referring to people who enforce gender roles on toddlers because they do something like stare at an adult woman. Yep, that's entirely true. Where they'll just be like, interacting with women, they'll just be like, oh, wow, it's cis heteronormativity starts young. It really does. So, yeah, it's Not good. Alright, what is this level? I work in a bakery and some women asked for gender reveal cupcakes. Told her we couldn't do that. Good, I'm glad. What is this? This is just some sort of RNG BS, I'm guessing. GG, thank you, Scotty.
What was...
What was what?
Was that rigged Lucky Draw?
Yeah, it's rigged Lucky Draw. I didn't get the world record. Hold on.
What was that? How do you... What? Is there no chance in that?
This is, yeah, it's 100% you always get it, so... Come on, world record hype.
Oh...
Japan might be the new capital of traps, sorry for the term. It's also a term we use too often in Japan to call yourself when you're just dressing up. Yep, and that's the problem with trap, is that not only is trap inherently toxic, because it literally is insinuating that someone is attempting to trap someone, you know, right manipulation, there you go. But not only is it inherently toxic, but it also just tends to be inaccurately used. To call ourselves, I would say that I don't like it when people use trap to refer to themselves. And this is something that, maybe this is controversial to me, and I have been very vocal about this, and I'm not going to change my mind on this because of how I've thought about this and why I have my reasoning for this. I do not like it when trans women self-identify as a trap because of the implication, not only because of the implication that of which it can have with them, but because of the implication it can have with myself and other trans women. The problem is when you have a group within this already minority group that is embracing a term, that of which has been used in a damaging way. Unfortunately, legitimizing that term can have very negative effects on the rest of us. I don't want people to see other trans women using the word trap and them being like, okay, this is something we can do, coming into my stream or interacting with me and calling me a trap, because I'm not a trap. My gender, my gender orientation, my gender identity, my body is not something that is designed to trick anyone, and I don't like what it insinuates. So, should be on a website instead of the actual Lucky Draw. Yeah, I know, right? Alright, we'll move on from this. We did that. But yeah, I don't like the usage of the term trap. I mean, I don't mind talking about this today, because this is the day to talk about it. But I will not allow anybody to, oh, right, this one again. I will not allow anybody to talk about it on a non-Queer Talk Friday. I used to refer to myself as that a long bit ago. I never found it that offensive, though, when I did. So, well, and I'm coming from the point of, for the record, I have used this term as myself, to refer to myself. So can it be used for cross-dresser or crossplayer? I don't like it being used for cross-dressing and cross-playing as well. I don't like the term at all. I don't think the term should be used at all. But I do recognize the fact that its origins comes from a certain part of, essentially, hentai and pornography, in which boys would dress up as women in order to trap people into it. Because that's where it comes from. It's specifically in order to trick people. There is a sub-genre of hentai, I'm fairly sure is where it comes from, and some anime as well, where it's specifically to trick people. And first off, I don't like that, because more often than not, when you have a trap in anime, it's just, Japan is fairly transphobic, and that is, transmissic, I should say, and that's about the only way that you can have a trans person in it. I mean, the best example I can think of is Ruka Ruhibara, from, I think I'm pronouncing it right, from Steins Gate, who is very clearly trans, but the anime and the manga make it very clear that it's just a very effeminate guy. So, yeah, it's inherently problematic because of its name, and I don't want it to be used in any regards. This is my opinion on this. I'm not going to try to change people's minds on this, but I will not tolerate that usage in this stream. And if that makes anybody, uncomfortable or mad, I'm sorry, but this is for my benefit that I do this. So, alright, I'm going to load this level. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on this as well. By the way, anything I talk about, you can feel free to also comment on and give an opinion on, because this is just as much your space, so. Emily, you're still here, right?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
at this point I'm just kind of listening to the conversations. I feel like with these topics, I don't have a whole lot on them. You kind of share my thoughts on them anyway.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know.
That's totally fair. So I think that's really all I have to say about the topic. And so I need to use the restroom one more time. Not one more time. It'll probably not be the last time, but I need to very quickly use the restroom. I would say I don't necessarily have any more questions to ask, Shoujo, Emily here. So if anybody else has any questions, you can feel free to. I don't know how much longer you are planning on staying on, Emily, by the way.
I do have, like... I will gladly take any more questions that anyone else happens to have, but, probably beyond that, I'm just gonna go and eat and then get ready for my own stuff.
Yeah, because
so.
you're gonna be streaming soon. So okay,
Yeah.
then I'll be back. Do you want to
Okay.
do you just want to plan to be off at noon then, so like I can confirm when you'll be off?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so I'm gonna be right back. I'll actually. Here's what I'll do. I won't put any music on. I'll just go ahead and leave it on this screen, and you all can ask Emily questions directly. If you're okay with that, Emily.
Yep.
All right. So no problem. So I will be right back. Go ahead. Feel free to ask Emily any questions that you have now. So BRB.
Alright, Scotty, what is your question? Yeah, feel free to ask anything. This is weird. Where am I? With your age and your support system, did you ever feel like you grow up fast? That's a good one. I'm only hosting Marcy Black. So the growing up fast thing is something that I had to do regardless because of, like, very early on family issues. But I would say yes. I, to this day, refer to a childhood as not really having a childhood because I did feel like I had to grow up a lot faster than literally any other kid that I know. People will constantly tell me that I'm, like, really mature for my age, or that I have, like, I don't know, wisdom beyond my years, or something like that, and, I mean, I guess it makes sense. There were a bunch of factors, not including transitioning, that forced me to grow up a lot faster than other kids, but transitioning definitely did contribute to that, so yeah, I did. Mm. Yeah, validation is honestly something that everyone seeks, and it's unfortunate that there are some adoptions that have to be made, despite how disgusting they be to reach that point. I don't know, it's just humans thrive off of validation.
Alright, I am back. I was listening in. Let me make sure I knew what this question was. How did you feel you had to? Did you ever feel it to grow up fast? Yeah, I've been there in terms of having to feel like I had to grow up fast as well. So, but Emily hosting Mary live. Mary. Okay,
No.
so Henshu, actually, I do want to comment on this as well because that's very relevant to what we were just talking about. That I am aware of this group of straight trans women that have willingly adopt that because it's validating, but it's gotcha. Hosting Marcy live, that's fair. I don't like it, and I actively push against this, and I have been very vocal on Twitter in the past as well about this, because while it may be validating to them, I firmly believe that it is actively working against the better good of the trans community as a whole. Like, there are very few things that I'm very strict about in terms of language usage, especially from a queer perspective, because queer is a reclaimed word. But okay, I'm gonna pull up this video. Next time we take a break, we'll play this video. So it's a little long, but we can play it. We can play part of it when we get back. But
I like Scotty's question.
what was that?
Scotty just asked a
I'll
question.
answer that question in a bit. I didn't really have the experience having to grow up fast because I didn't realize I might be trans to 21. I had to grow up fast not for trans stuff, but because of child abuse and stuff. So that's a separate thing, and I don't really want to talk about that. Shoot. Am I not being... I think when I get quieter, I'm not picking much. I'm gonna go ahead and open my noise gate. There we go. That should should help pick up some of the lower stuff that I do. But to comment on this, I don't like it. I think it's inherently toxic, and I think these people are doing more harm than good, because while it may be validating to them, what they're validating is that A, they can be seen only as sexual objects by men, which in a BDSM sense, yes, this can be appropriate, but when your whole identity is based around, you know, that sort of thing, no, it's inherently bad. It's going to harm other trans women, and that's kind of where I draw the line when it comes to this language. Is what you're using and the terminology that of which you're using, could it negatively affect other people in this community? And I wholeheartedly think trap is one of those terms. So, we'll get to Scotty's question in a moment. Definitely not good for them either. It's very degrading, exactly, and also can lead to a lot of other issues that these people will face. So. What really bothers me, the people in the community that are rude towards those that don't want to go through a GRS are definitely a lot more sexual. Yes, and that is also a portion of this as well, is that there are trans people who do not want to get GRS, and that's 100% valid, and we shouldn't, like, see them as lesser or as, you know, different or wrong. So, a somewhat similar experience here. It was born off the back of close childhood. Gotcha. How did you find out that you were trans normally? I mean, it was 2 teenage trans girls who found out I might be a trans girl when I was a kid, and they were right. For myself, I had trans people in my life, and I read a lot about it. So it was just reading about other experiences that led me to that. All right, so Scotty's question. Do you feel streaming on Twitch has allowed you to be open up and feel more pronounced as not only a content creator, but also as a personality? Scotty, can you elaborate on that? Because I'm not too sure what you mean by that, but I do want to answer this question. And I think, Shoujo, we can answer this question as well if you want to also partake in this.
Yes, I do.
Cool. I don't trust this. Trust this for gosh dang second. This is gonna have a fish, right? This is gonna kill me, right? Not dead yet. Has Twitch become a conduit for you to find yourself more than any other social means? Okay, you know what? That's actually a really good question, and I do want Shoujo, Emily, would you like to answer this first so you can say this before you have to go, or would you like me to answer first? Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear yours first.
So, as far as Twitch goes, I love the fact that I am able to be myself no matter what. Like, I feel like that opportunity has been pushed towards me through Twitch, as opposed to literally everything else that I can do. It's very easily accessible. It's extremely open. There are a bunch of people that actually enjoy hearing me out and are there to, you know, have conversations with me or even help me realize new things about myself. It's a lot easier to find yourself on Twitch, I would say, when you have the ability to constantly look at yourself and ask yourself questions, because it's just readily available. So I would say definitely yes. Twitch has definitely been that conduit that helps me find myself a lot more than any other activity that I know of.
All right, that's a good answer, and I would say that I could say, but let me give my own take on this. Also, let me plug it back in my view because I just unplugged it. I don't know how well you can hear me right now. All right, so I think really the best way to answer this question is I'm gonna have to go back to when I started streaming again. So I've actually been on Twitch. I have had accounts and I have streamed on Twitch since at least the summer of 2016. The account out of which I streamed on back then is actually still up, and you can find old VODs and highlights. Or highlights and clips on that account still, though I don't advertise that account. So if you were to go to my speedrun.com, you can find clips of that. Yeah, Greenwater. It's because of the background, Curie. But, also, I feel like the troll here is I have to go back down the pipe. But when I first started streaming, I was only speedrunning. That was really about it. It was about speedrunning. When I streamed again last year, it was really only about speedrunning, but I did talk about my gender identity a bit. And when I started streaming again this year, it was actually, I started out only speedrunning. What changed was, first off, I started playing some Dark Souls, and I started talking more about my personal life, and that was interesting. But me playing Kaizo kind of changed a lot. Before I started playing Kaizo, learned to Kaizo on stream, I was actually a mature streamer, and after it, because of some of the people that I watched and some of the people that I liked, I actually ended up going family friendly. And on top of that, my introduction to the girls of Kaizo made it so I started being more vocal about my trans side of this. Kaizo August, I know, right? Talking about more the trans side of who I was, and then I think the biggest thing that's happened so far that's led to where I am at now is my joining the Good Vibes tribe changed how my stream was set up. Because hold on, Skittles, who is Scoots as I called her, she was in here earlier. She's the leader of the Good Vibes tribe. Every Monday she has a thing called Mental Health Mondays, where she has a cam on and she talks directly to her chat. 25% of all the Actually, fun fact, now all 25% of all the proceeds from these days go to her charity. I was the one that told her about that, and she implemented it because of my Queer Talk Fridays. Fun fact. But Queer Talk Fridays actually started as a similar thing to that, where I wanted to, have an opportunity to talk about these things and have people be able to ask me these questions, because I had the perspective of being trans and queer as well, and I wanted to be able to give that. And so that started up, and I met more people, and I had, Annie and Megan became mods, and Amethyst Rocks, and several of the girls of Kaizo, and I just kept meeting more people on the family-friendly side, the mental health side, and now I'm at this point where I essentially have a talk show / podcast that I do every Friday. Like, this is the third Queer Talk Friday that we have. Unfortunately, I do not have the VOD for the first Queer Talk Friday, but I do have the last two, and this one will be going up on YouTube soon. Yeah, Amy is great. We can be trans and queer? Yeah, because I'm trans and I'm also queer, because my sexuality is queer and my gender identity is queer. So I'm gender queer and, queer sexual. Queer sexual doesn't make any sense, but queer in a sexual and sensual point. And romantic. Hence, I mean. And so, in terms of finding myself, what I want to do and what I want to do with my life past streaming is still something I've been thinking a lot about. But this has not only been, here Mars to get who you are, exactly. This has not only been an opportunity to be able to explore this and to act as a public person and to do this sort of thing, donate, do stuff for charity, interview people. But on top of that, the people that I have met have kind of changed the way that of which I've been going about my life. Because, I mean, I'm disabled. I've talked about that. I am currently not able to work a job, and unfortunately my family situation is kind of toxic and really not built around it. They don't really understand it. My allergies acting up. But what exactly is queer? Queer is an umbrella term for anybody that is LGBTQIA+, is basically the best way to describe it. Although the Q in LGBTQIA+ stands for queer, but so from a disability point of view, the people that I've met recently and who I've been able to talk about has kind of changed how I've been going about myself as well, because I've been able to get some more things figured out, diagnosed, and worked on since I've been talking with these people about it. Like, I'm currently being tested for mast cell disease. I have no idea if I'm going to have that, but given the symptoms, I feel it might be possible to have this. I might have some form of dysautonomia, considering my symptoms as well. And given these two things, on top of everything else that I have diagnosed or diagnosed and working on, it's entirely possible that how my disability is not only a lot more pervasive than I initially thought, but the way that I was planning on living my life is probably going to have to change on some fundamental level depending on what I end up getting diagnosed with. And so going forward, that's really changed my perspective on who I am and what I'm doing with this. But I am very much someone who is growing. I am also very much someone who, not 7 months ago, I'll say, I was a very toxic person. I was not a person that was good to be around. I was not a healthy person to be around. And I very much was a very hurt, toxic person. That's really the best way to put it. And I've been making a conscious effort since last, November, December, to better myself, to not be that person anymore, to no longer be toxic, to be a healthy, good person, to have good friendships and relationships. And that's been a hard process, and it's still something I'm working on. And I think Twitch has been really helping me to make friendships with like-minded people and to meet people who are willing to help me improve myself and to get better. And so to answer your question, Scotty, yeah, Twitch has not only been a way to find myself, but it's also been a way to meet other people in ways that I normally wouldn't be able to be able to grow in ways that I don't think I'd be possibly able to grow without having met these people. And so I am very much still a work in progress. I very much am still trying to improve. I still think there's a lot I can do to improve, but I think that staying on Twitch, doing what I'm doing, not just with the regular streaming, but with Queer Talk Fridays, is going to be a wonderful way for me to be able to continue myself. Also, Dad, oh my gosh, it's been so long, my friend. I've missed you. Where have you been? When's the last time you streamed? Tell me everything, Deathbizzle. Deathbizzle's a friend of mine. He was one of the first people that supported me when I started streaming again as well. I kind of feel like, and feel free to correct me if you feel otherwise, queer is kind of a huge umbrella term for any sort of deviation from the norm, be it gender, sexuality, or presentation. That's basically it. Yeah, it's Blackbird, you're fairly accurate, or you're accurate. I agree it's the most common and current definition. I agree. I've seen somewhere that term was invented by a gay man who wanted to separate them to effeminate gay man, yet I also heard lesbians use it too. Yeah, anybody uses it. Queer is very open to who can use it. It's gone through a lot of meanings over the years, yeah. And it wasn't that long ago that queer was actually a derogative word, is a pejorative term, and it has been reclaimed since then. So I think that's the best way to answer it. And I think we're gonna have to be wrapping up, the Queer Talk Friday, guest speaking shoujo part of this as well, because I think Shoujo, you want to go start streaming soon, right?
Yeah, I gotta, eat and such to
so
things that are, quote, important.
So what would you say is still seen as more derogative in the UK? Yeah, exactly. Let me, hold on. So, haven't streamed in over a month. I got stuck on PvP gotcha. That's fair. You keep doing your thing, dude. You are a friend, Lofi friend. Language changed a lot quicker. Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on Twitch recently. I feel like it's helped me a lot with feeling the void of social interactions. Yeah, that was the thing when starting a Twitch as well. I'm very isolated in my situation. I have very few IRL friends, and I had basically no one that I was talking to for months for a while because I didn't really have any friends. And now I have friends again, and it's awesome. I like that for lesbians revoke the term dyke to mean strong lesbian women. Yeah, that's a good one too. So since we still have Emily here for just a couple more minutes, Emily, anything that you want to, any closing thoughts you want to close on, you want to say just anything else to the chat, anything. It could be about your stream, about who you are, about any final points that you want to make. Feel free.
Not particularly, but I do want to say thanks to you for, letting me be here and like being able to invite me into this conversation and ask me questions, and same to chat. Thank you all for allowing me to be the guest and asking me cool questions too. I really appreciate everyone. How to do mid-airs? Flick left, release, flick right.
Yep,
Blue, why am I such a nerd? Because I am. Thank you guys so much.
No, and thank you, Emily, for being on today. I really do appreciate all you've done, all you've talked about today. I really do appreciate this opportunity that you gave me to be able to interview as well and to learn more about you. So, yeah, I think I'll go ahead and let you go. I think Blue wants you to say one thing before you go as well.
Yeah, Marcy, Blue wants me to tell you that you're a dork.
And Blue is a dork as well. So, yeah, that's it's fair. And yeah, thank you for being on today. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go on a short break as well, and then we're gonna be getting back to the viewer levels. By the way, y'all, we still do have that donation incentive, and that will be running to the end of the stream. If we can raise another $13.75, we will be attempting to beat Pangea Panga's Skyzo. And the $20 all there, all the money up there, that's going towards the charity that I have. I'll be responding to comments in a bit. I am going to very quickly use the restroom, but thank you, Shoujo, Emily, for being on today. Lofi friend, you have a good stream.
Lofi too.
Let me give a shout out to ToransuShojo as well. Y'all should go follow her and go check her out. She's going to be going live soon. I'm going to be rating her afterwards because I had her on today. So yeah, let's.
Thank you all. Love you guys.
Love you all. Take care, Shoujo. I'm going to end the call. Bye.
Bye.
I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take a quick break. We are going to play some music. We're going to use the restroom. And then look very well the girl at 20. I'm going to leave a marker here. So yeah, that is the end of the, the Queer Talk Friday segment of this. We will still be taking questions for myself about anything related to anything we talked about today or anything else related to health or queerness. As well, for the rest of the stream, we will be playing viewer levels until we hit, if we hit that donation goal, we will be playing Skyzo as well. I will be responding to comments while I am using the restroom, but I will be right back, and then we'll be continuing on. So BRB.